Chapter 1031. Qin Feiyong took a few steps back and said indifferently, "To be able to resolve that attack, not bad. You're not as weak as I thought you were." Although it was a compliment, Viper was displeased by his indifferent attitude and tone. That was because in his opinion, Qin Feiyong was mocking him. "Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to me with such an attitude? Just you wait. Soon, you'll be kneeling on the ground and begging me to let you off." Second style of the Poison Dragon Manual, Poison Dragon Hellfire. As Viper finished his sentence, the poison dragon roared deafeningly. Following that, the poison dragon opened its mouth and spat out a green flame that swept through the sky and pounced towards Qin Feiyong. The flame was not a real flame. It was condensed from Viper's poison gas. The terrifying poison spread in all directions and even Qin Feiyong could not help but feel dizzy. He hurriedly consumed an antidote pill. However, because he was fast, Viper did not see how many elixir patterns it had. "If an antidote pill can resolve my poison gas, how can I dominate this sea region?" Viper sneered and his eyes were filled with mockery. Qin Feiyong remained silent. It was undeniable that Viper's attainments in poison refinement were indeed terrifying. The antidote pill he consumed earlier on had 5 elixir patterns. As for the antidote pill with 5 elixir patterns, it could even remove the black malice poison refined by the ugly old woman. But now, it could only alleviate the effects and could not completely remove it. As such, it could be seen. Viper's poison gas was enough to kill people of the same realm. It seemed like he had to end the battle quickly. Otherwise, if the poison gas in his body accumulated, he would be in a passive situation instead. Clang! In an instant, the scarlet sword chi in his chi sea poured out and dozens of flaming sword shadows were formed. Each of them exuded a sharp aura that could destroy the world. "There's such a method?" Viper was shocked. Slash! Qin Feiyong roared and his voice was like thunder. It shook the sea region for miles and set off huge waves. Clang! Immediately, the dozens of sword silhouettes moved out in full force, carrying thousands of sword chi as they charged towards Viper. The poison dragon underworld fire was unable to put up any resistance and instantly turned into nothingness. It could be said to be unstoppable. Puff! Venom Snake spat out a mouthful of blood. However, he did not panic at all. Instead, his expression became even more ferocious. "You think you can defeat me? Dream on." Third style, Poison Dragon Possession. Viper waved his hand and the poisonous dragon swooped down. It turned into a waterfall and entered the space between his eyebrows. Boom! Immediately, a terrifying aura rushed out from the snake's body. Moreover, his aura was rising crazily. In the blink of an eye, his cultivation level had actually reached the level of a 9-star battle saint. Do you see that? This is the true profundity of the poison dragon art. It can raise my cultivation by a minor realm. Now that I am a 9-star battle saint and you are still an 8-star battle saint, what do you have to fight me? The Viper roared, and with a wave of its hand, a giant python appeared. The giant python's body was like a mountain ridge, releasing a monstrous ferocious might. It revealed its dense venomous fangs and actually shattered the dozens of sword shadows with irresistible force. Puff! The sword shadows were continuously shattered, causing Qin Feiyong to suffer heavy injuries. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. The true profundity of the poison dragon art? He looked at the Viper with eyes full of mockery. In terms of power, the poison dragon art was indeed a pinnacle perfect battle art. However, in front of the kill art, it was not worth mentioning. This was because the poison dragon art could only raise the cultivation level by a minor realm. However, the kill art could raise the cultivation level by a major realm. What kind of difference was this? A frog at the bottom of a well. How pitiful. Qin Feiyong shook his head and placed his hands in front of his chest to form a seal. A vast and mighty dragon power surged out like a volcanic eruption. Hum! Boom! In the next moment, a square seal appeared. It was the size of a palm and emitted a dazzling purple-gold divine light. At the bottom of the square seal, there was a lifelike purple-gold divine dragon. That's right. It was the first style of the divine dragon art, the divine dragon seal. When the divine art appeared, its godly might intimidated the surroundings. Viper's heart suddenly surged with an uncontrollable fear. "Kneel down." Qin Feiyong roared and his aura surged. Hum! The divine dragon seal streaked across the sky and the roar of the dragon shook the heavens. The giant python let out a hiss and instantly collapsed. Then, the divine dragon seal carried a shocking might and suppressed the venom snake. Plop! The mighty godly might shrouded the world. Viper could not help but tremble and kneel down in the void. This kneel was like a bolt from the blue, causing his mind to rumble. I am one of the 10 heroes of Qinghai. I am an invincible king of the same realm. How can I kneel to others? Bastard, I want to destroy you and make you never reincarnate. Viper suddenly stood up and a destructive aura surged out of his body. Qin Feiyang's pupils constricted. It seemed that Viper was desperate and wanted to use a forbidden technique. Poison domain. As expected, the venomous snake let out a hysterical roar. Green poisonous mist burst out from its body and surged in all directions like a tide. In an instant, Qin Feiyang was drowned by the poisonous fog. Immediately, he sensed that wisps of terrifying poisonous gas were madly drilling into his pores. His face, lips, and skin quickly turned black. This was the sign of being poisoned. Qin Feiyang was shocked. The poison now was several times more terrifying than before. He quickly used his battle chi to seal his pores. However, he was shocked to find that it was meaningless. Not only was it meaningless, the poisonous gas also had a terrifying corrosive power, crazily eroding his battle chi, including the power of his bloodline. Qin Feiyang was shocked and broke out in cold sweat. He could feel that facing this poisonous fog, even a 9-star battle saint would not be able to escape death. Even a 1-star battle emperor would not be able to escape safely. Haha. Crazy, continue. Viper was like a demon god, standing proudly in front of Qin Feiyang and laughing wildly. The poison domain was his forbidden technique. The domain covered an area of 10 miles. Any living creature that entered this domain, unless they had overwhelming strength, would not be able to escape. Once the poisonous fog entered the body of a living creature, it would immediately pounce on all the vital points. For example, the qi, the heart, and even the soul. These places were undoubtedly the most fatal places. Once entangled by the poisonous gas, even if a god descended to the mortal world, he would not be able to save him. Qin Feiyang glanced at the poisonous fog, looked at Viper and sneered. Then as you wish, continue to be crazy. Boom. His body shook, and the purple-gold battle chi broke out of his body, transforming into a huge purple-gold dragon. Roar. The purple-gold dragon turned in the air and let out a loud dragon roar at Viper. Immediately, a sound wave was born, like an invisible wave, sweeping across the sky, and all the poisonous fog was instantly annihilated. Viper turned pale with fright. Even a forbidden technique could be forcefully broken? What level of battle art was this? Ah! Just as he was in a daze, the sound wave roared and arrived. With a blood-curdling scream, his body was instantly drenched in blood. This roar of the purple-gold dragon was not just a simple roar. It was the second move of the divine dragon method, the divine dragon's roar. There was no suspense. Viper was heavily injured by this attack. His entire body was a mess of flesh and blood as he powerlessly fell to the ground. The 10 heroes of the Azure Sea are only a... Qin Feiyang laughed in disdain. He took a step forward and pierced through Viper's qi with a finger, crippling his cultivation. Then, his hands quickly formed a seal, and an enslavement seal quickly appeared, fusing into the top of Viper's head. Ah! Viper hugged his head and screamed for a while. Suddenly, he realized that there seemed to be something extra in his head. He stared at Qin Feiyang in shock and anger and roared, "What did you do to me?" Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and a battle chi appeared, holding Viper in the air, and said indifferently, "This is an enslavement seal. It can control your soul, and now with just a thought, your soul will scatter." Impossible. How could there be such a thing in this world? Viper shook his head, his face incomparably ferocious. Qin Feiyang was too lazy to answer. He directly used his actions to prove it. Viper immediately screamed miserably. He felt as if his head was about to split open, and his face was distorted. At this moment, he could clearly feel the aura of death. "Don't kill me. Stop it." He hurriedly cried out in fear. Qin Feiyang stopped operating the enslavement seal and said indifferently, Now tell me, do I have the qualifications to be arrogant? Yes, yes, yes. Viper nodded repeatedly. Originally, he thought that he could easily get rid of this person. Who would have thought that he would be so ridiculously strong? Qin Feiyang swallowed another detoxification pill to relieve the poison in his body, and said, "Then do you need me to remind you what to do now?" "No need." Viper hurriedly waved his hand, and then knelt in the air, begging for mercy and kowtowing. I thought that the 10 heroes of the Azure Sea were some amazing people. It turns out that they are also so spineless. Qin Feiyang crossed his arms in front of his chest and mocked. Spineless? Viper sneered. What was the use of spineless? Only when one was alive would there be hope, a future, and a chance. Qin Feiyang shook his head. As the saying went, in the face of death, self-esteem and face were worthless. He said indifferently, "Tell me, why do you want to kill me?" This. Viper hesitated. The strength of the old man in green was even more terrifying than the person in front of him. If the news was leaked, he was afraid that he would not be able to escape death. Qin Feiyang's eyes were filled with killing intent and he shouted, "Tell me." Viper's eyes trembled and he hurriedly said, "It's an old man who wants to kill you, but I don't know him." "If you don't know him, why do you want to help him?" Qin Feiyang frowned. "He forced me to take a kind of poison. If I don't do as he says, he won't give me the antidote." There was a trace of resentment in his tone. If the old man in green had not forced him, he would not have ended up in this state. No way. Qin Feiyang was surprised. Wasn't Viper an expert in refining poisons? Was there a poison that he could not cure? In the past, I thought that I was the best in refining poisons because I could even cure the poison of the bloodthirsty scorpion. However, it was only when I met that old bastard that I realized that I had been deceiving myself and others the entire time. I had been viewing the sky from the bottom of a well. Viper sighed, looking rather lonely. What? Even the poison of the bloodthirsty scorpion can be cured? Qin Feiyang was in disbelief. He had personally experienced the poison of the bloodthirsty scorpion. Other than the poison of the blood soul spider, there was almost no antidote. However, Viper told him that he could cure the poison of the bloodthirsty scorpion. How could he not be shocked? After coming back to his senses, Qin Feiyang asked, "Is it the poison of the blood soul spider?" "No. It's the universal antidote that I concocted myself." Viper shook his head. "Universal antidote?" Qin Feiyang was stunned and hurriedly said, "Let me see." Viper took out a jade bottle that was half filled with a milky white liquid that had a hazy luster. One could vaguely feel a sacred aura. Qin Feiyang took the jade bottle, opened the cork, and sniffed it. There was a pleasant fragrance that could make one feel refreshed. Viper said, "This is called sacred water. It can cure hundreds of poisons." Cure hundreds of poisons? Qin Feiyang was surprised and said, "You're not lying to me." "How would I dare to lie to you now?" Viper smiled bitterly. Qin Feiyang did not dare to let his guard down. He secretly peeked at Viper's inner thoughts. After confirming that there was no evil intention, he poured a drop of sacred water and put it into his mouth. Immediately, he felt that the sacred water turned into a majestic energy that surged to his limbs and bones. Wherever it passed, the poison that had seeped into his body was swept away. Not bad. Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up. With this thing, he would not have to worry about being poisoned in the future. Looking at Qin Feiyang's expression, Viper's heart skipped a beat. He said fawningly, "If you like it, I'll give it to you." "Give it to me?" Qin Feiyang was stunned. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly and he joked, "Even if I snatch it now, can you stop me?" Viper's expression froze. Yes. Now that he had become a prisoner, there was no need to talk about what he had. As long as the other party asked, he had no right to refuse. Qin Feiyang glanced at Viper, lowered his head and fell into deep thought. As for Viper, he had come with the intention of killing him. But now, he was a little hesitant. Because this person was still valuable. If he kept him by his side, he might be able to help him in the future. He might even become his right-hand man. At the same time, seeing that Qin Feiyang was silent, Viper could not help but feel nervous. After some time, Qin Feiyang looked up at Viper and asked, "What does the old man who ordered you look like?" Viper hurriedly used his battle chi to create the image of the old man in cyan. Qin Feiyong sized up the old man in cyan and asked Viper, "Have you seen him in Qinghai before?" "Never. It should be his first time in Qinghai." Viper shook his head and deduced. First time in Qinghai. Qin Feiyong's eyes flickered. Suddenly, a light flashed in his eyes and he took out the image crystal. Buzz. After a while, a young man appeared. It was Wu Yang. Qin Feiyong pointed at the image of the old man in cyan and asked, "Do you know him?" Wu Yang glanced at the old man in cyan and his eyes trembled slightly. He said in surprise, "Why are you asking about him? You know him?" Qin Feiyong narrowed his eyes and asked. Wu Yang said in a deep voice, "Of course I know him. He is the former steward of the divine python tribe. His name is Pei Qin, commonly known as Elder Qin. He is the confidant of the leader of the divine python tribe. His methods are very terrifying." Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows. How could he be from the divine python tribe? Although he knew that Pei Zhongfeng was killed by the leader of the divine python tribe, the leader of the divine python tribe did not know that. Therefore, there was no such thing as killing people to silence them. But other than that, what else could it be? There must be a reason why a person wanted to kill another person. Or was it purely Pei Qin's idea and had nothing to do with the leader of the divine python tribe? But he did not remember when he had offended Pei Qin. What was going on? Chapter 1032. Is there anything else? Wu Yang asked. No. Qin Feiyong shook his head, but he suddenly thought of something and asked, "Has your chief received the news of Gua Xiongzhong's death?" What? Housekeeper Gua is dead? Wu Yang was surprised. Yes. Qin Feiyong nodded. Where did he die? How did he die? Wu Yang asked. Although Qin Feiyong had asked him about Gua Xiongzhong's situation before, he did not tell him the reason. Therefore, there were many things that he did not know. Qinghai. As for how he died, he must have been killed. Qin Feiyong smiled. Qinghai. Wu Yang's heart trembled. Wasn't Ancestor Mu in Qinghai now? In an instant, he thought of a general idea and said, "I didn't hear about Gua Xiongzhong's death. I guess the chief hasn't received the news either." It's good that he didn't receive the news. Also, I don't want any more twists and turns, so you must keep this matter a secret. Qin Feiyong said. If the chief of the Qilin tribe knew about Gua Xiongzhong's death, he might send someone else. Moreover, he might send someone stronger than Gua Xiongzhong. It would be troublesome then. I will. Wu Yang nodded and turned off the image crystal. Qin Feiyong also put away the image crystal and lowered his head to look at Viper, who was kneeling in front of him. Viper's body trembled and a trace of flattery appeared on his face. Qin Feiyong said indifferently, "I can spare your life, but in the future, you must obey my orders." Viper's expression stiffened and he frowned. "You want me to submit?" "Yes," Qin Feiyong said. Viper's eyes flashed with anger and said, "I can submit to you, but what about the poison in my body? If I don't kill you, Pei Qin will definitely not give me the antidote." Qin Feiyong said, "As long as you agree, I will find a way to get you the antidote." You. Pei Qin is a 5-star combat emperor, or even stronger. How can you help me? Viper said disdainfully. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and said, "There will always be a way. Besides, do you have a choice right now?" Alas. Viper let out a long sigh. That's right, he had no choice. If he wanted to live, he could only submit. Don't look so reluctant. Many people cry and beg to follow me, but I don't like them. Qin Feiyong sneered. Who would believe such nonsense? Viper secretly despised Su Tao, but he did not dare to show it. Nodding his head, he replied, "All right, I'll follow you, but you must help me get the antidote." Once he got his hands on the antidote, wouldn't he be able to do whatever he wanted? Follow. Humph, naive. He, Viper, was one of the Blue Sea's 10 heroes. How could he follow a nobody? Qin Feiyong said, "Do you really think I'm a nobody?" Viper was shocked. How did this person know what he was thinking? The slavery seal has another function, and that is to peek into your heart. No matter what you are thinking, I will know. Qin Feiyong said. This. Viper was dumbfounded. In that case, there would be no more secrets. Let me tell you, in terms of identity, the Blue Sea's 10 heroes are nothing in my eyes. Qin Feiyong sneered. Then I shall wait and see. Let's see what kind of identity you have. Viper snorted. Then you will wait and see. Qin Feiyong did not talk nonsense and asked, do you have Pei Qin's continuous method? No. Viper shook his head. Qin Feiyong asked again, then how long will the antidote he gave you last? About half a year. Viper said. Half a year. Qin Feiyong pondered and suddenly said, if I use the antidote with 6 veins, can it clear the poison in your body? 6 veins? Are you kidding? Who in the world can refine a pill with 6 veins? Besides, even if someone can refine it, it may not be useful. Viper said. It may not be useful, which means it may be feasible. Let's try it first. Qin Feiyong waved his hand and took Viper into the castle. Where is this place? Viper immediately looked at this unfamiliar place in bewilderment. Beat him. At the same time, Wolf King roared and quickly rushed to Viper with a double-winged snow eagle and the other beasts, punching and kicking him. Ah! Bastard, who are you? Get out of my way! Viper was stunned. After a scream, he roared again and again. Wolf King and the other beasts ignored him and crazily beat him up. After a while, Viper turned into a pig's head. The wounds on his body that were about to scab burst open again and were dripping with blood. The double-winged snow eagle snorted. If little Qin Zi didn't like you, I would have swallowed you. Yes, how dare you go against us? You are really reckless. Wolf King stood in front of Viper like a human, his eyes full of coldness. Who the fuck are you guys? Why are you attacking me for no reason? Are you crazy? Viper roared angrily. Who are we? Wolf King and the other beasts looked at each other and laughed evilly. Don't fight, let's talk. Viper saw that the situation was not good. He quickly waved his hand and his swollen face was full of flattery. Coward. Wolf King glanced at him disdainfully and looked at Qin Feiyong with dissatisfaction. Little Qin Zi, isn't it enough that you have so many brothers to accompany you? Why do you have to take in this coward? What do you mean? The double-winged snow eagle also said, are you starting to alienate us because we are weak and can't help you? Qin Feiyong's face darkened. How could these guys have such a rich imagination? When did he have such thoughts? He was really wronged. He couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with these guys. He turned and walked to the furnace. With a thought, the nether devil flame swooped down and floated below the furnace. You're an alchemist? Looking at this scene, Viper did not care about the pain in his body. He crawled up and asked in surprise. Are you surprised? The surprise is yet to come. A frog at the bottom of a well wants to dominate a region. How ridiculous. Wolf King and the other beasts ridiculed him mercilessly. Viper was angry, but he tactfully shut his mouth when he saw the fierce eyes of the other beasts. Qin Feiyong ignored him and took out a set of herbs for the detoxification pill. He revived the nether devil flame and started to refine the pill. This is... Viper was shocked when the nether devil flame was revived. Very quickly, a detoxification pill with 6 elixir veins was refined. Try it. Qin Feiyong grabbed the detoxification pill and threw it to Viper. Viper caught it in a panic. He lowered his head and looked at it. It was as if he was struck by lightning and his mind rumbled. 6 elixir veins. How was that possible? This person could refine a pill with 6 elixir veins. Was he dreaming? He rubbed his eyes and looked at it again. The 6 elixir veins on the detoxification pill were like the halo of an angel, emitting a dazzling light that was enchanting. Viper gulped and raised his head to look at Qin Feiyong. If I'm not wrong, that elixir fire is also a grade 7 elixir fire. Who are you? Qin Feiyong said indifferently. Didn't Barbarian Bull tell you? I'm the personal disciple of the Chief Pagoda Master. No. I'm asking about your true identity. Viper said. Qin Feiyong's heart skipped a beat and he asked curiously, how did you know that I have another identity? Intuition. Viper said. Qin Feiyong said, intuition is too vague. Don't take it too seriously. Viper looked at him deeply and did not continue asking. He consumed the detoxification pill in his hand and closed his eyes to check the situation in his body. A moment later. He opened his eyes, shook his head and sighed. It's just as I expected. His face was also full of disappointment. This, Qin Feiyong and Wolf King looked at each other. Even the detoxification pill with 6 elixir veins did not have any effect. What kind of poison did Pei Qin give Viper? Viper said again. It's not that it has no effect. At least it has a relieving effect. If there are more elixir veins, maybe it can be done. What about the 7 elixir veins? Qin Feiyong asked. Viper was slightly stunned and asked excitedly, Can you refine it? Not for the time being. Qin Feiyong shook his head. Viper instantly became dispirited and sighed. It seems that I can only think of a way to get the antidote from Pei Qin. Qin Feiyong said, Pei Qin wants me. Unless you give me to him, he won't give you the antidote. Viper could not help but feel desperate. How could he, who had been reduced to a prisoner, hand this person over to Pei Qin? Unless this person was willing. But this kind of thing, no one was willing to do. Suddenly, his eyes lit up and he looked at Qin Feiyong and said, Why don't you fake your death? When I get the antidote, we can escape. Fake my death? Qin Feiyong was stunned and nodded. This is a good idea, but I'm worried. Speaking of this. Qin Feiyong fell silent and was a little uneasy. Viper asked, What are you worried about? I'm worried that Pei Qin will not only not give you the antidote, but also kill you to silence you. After all, I am the disciple of the chief pagoda master. He will definitely worry that you will leak it out. Because once exposed, his divine python tribe will face the wrath of the chief pagoda master. This is not something they can bear. Qin Feiyong said. Viper's eyelids twitched. Not to mention, this was really possible. The best way is to research the antidote yourself, or find a way to get me a cluster of 7th grade elixir fire. Qin Feiyong said. Why do I need a 7th grade elixir fire? Viper was suspicious. Qin Feiyong said, to refine a 7th grade elixir pattern antidote. Now he had a 7th grade elixir fire. As long as he got another 7th grade elixir fire, plus the 7th grade elixir fire that was about to be born, the Nether Devil Flame could be upgraded to the 8th grade. And the 8th grade Nether Devil Flame could allow him to refine a 7th grade elixir pattern antidote. Maybe he could remove the poison in Viper's body. The double-winged snow eagle raised its eyebrows and looked at Qin Feiyong helplessly, saying, Aren't you finding a problem for yourself? Why bother? Just kill him and end it all. Don't. I have already chosen to surrender, which means that we are family now. You can't do anything treacherous. Hearing the double-winged snow eagle's words, Viper's face changed and he quickly said, Who's family with you? Don't flatter yourself. The double-winged snow eagle rolled its eyes. Wolf King and the other beasts also looked indifferent. Chapter 1033. Qin Feiyong glanced at Wolf King and the other 2 beasts and smiled. They're just joking. Don't take it seriously. So they're just joking. Viper sighed in relief. Wolf King frowned. Little Qin Zi, we're not joking this time. The double-winged snow eagle nodded. That's right. I feel uncomfortable staying with an old poison all day long. Viper hurriedly said. Don't worry. Although I'm full of poison, I can control and release it freely. It won't hurt you. Really? Wolf King and the double-winged snow eagle didn't believe him. Viper nodded. With a thought, the green color on his skin quickly faded. Soon, it became the color of an ordinary person's skin. And his eyes turned from green to black. Don't say it. Viper, who had returned to normal, looked different in an instant. He had exquisite facial features, deep eyes, a slender figure, and thick eyebrows. He was the epitome of a handsome man. You can really do it? Wolf King was surprised and asked suspiciously, If you can look like a normal person, why do you always look like that? Viper said, If you want to survive in the inland sea, you have to be careful at all times. And poison is my natural defense. That's how it is. Wolf King suddenly understood. Indeed. As long as Viper activated the poison in his body, no one dared to approach him. Can you accept it now? Viper looked at Wolf King and the other 2 beasts and asked pitifully. The 2 beasts looked at each other and finally nodded in agreement. But there was an additional condition. They must obey their orders in the future. In order to survive, Viper had to compromise. Qin Feiyong smiled and looked at Viper. Let's get down to business. Besides the alchemy fire that's about to be born, are there any other 7th grade alchemy fires in the inland sea? Viper thought and shook his head. I haven't heard of any. That's not good. The medicine that Pei Qin gave you can only last for half a year. I'm afraid it's difficult to gather 3 7th grade alchemy fires in half a year. Qin Feiyong rubbed his forehead. Could it be that only Pei Qin could remove the poison in the snake's body? Wolf King said, why don't we just go straight to the divine python tribe and force them to hand over the antidote? It's feasible. The two-winged snow eagle nodded. I think it's feasible too. Although we don't know whether it was Pei Qin's idea to murder you or the order of the chief of the divine python tribe, we can be sure that they don't dare to make a big deal out of it. If they don't want to make a big deal out of it, they have to do as we say. In other words, we can use this matter to blackmail them. Lu Hong said, and her face was covered in a wisp of frost that couldn't be melted. Not bad. You already know how to use your brain to think of problems. Qin Feiyong looked at Lu Hong and Wolf King in surprise. His eyes were filled with gratification. Yes. Now they could completely grasp this point and turn from passivity to initiative. Right. I remember now. There is a grade 7 pill fire in the inner sea. At this moment, Viper suddenly said. Qin Feiyong was slightly stunned, and his breathing suddenly became rapid. He asked, where is it? Dan Wang Kai. Viper said. Dan Wang Kai? Qin Feiyong was stunned. Wolf King, the other beasts, and Lu Hong were also puzzled. Viper said, I don't know if you have heard from Wang Zicheng that there is an alchemist among the 10 heroes of Qinghai? Yes. I heard from Wang Zicheng that this person can refine 5 pill veins. I have a deep impression of him. Qin Feiyong nodded. Dan Wang Kai is him. This person is more arrogant than me. He claims that no one can surpass him in alchemy, so he calls himself the Elixir King. And the pill fire he is using now seems to be a grade 7 pill fire. Viper said. Dan Wang Kai. Qin Feiyong's eyes flickered and he asked, can you contact him? Yes. Viper nodded. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed, and he took out a spiritual sea pill and a healing pill, threw them to Viper, and said, take them. After you recover, ask him to come here immediately. Okay. Viper looked at Qin Feiyong meaningfully, took the spiritual sea pill and the healing pill, sat cross-legged on the ground, closed his eyes, and began to heal. Qin Feiyong also took 2 steps back and leaned his back against the altar. He crossed his arms in front of his chest and lowered his head in silence. No one knew what he was thinking about. Wolf King glanced at Viper, and then sneakily approached Qin Feiyong and whispered, are you thinking about whether to take the 10 heroes of Qinghai as your subordinates? Qin Feiyong turned to look at Wolf King, and his eyes seemed to ask, how do you know? Wolf King said with a sneaky smile, haha, it seems that I guessed right. You know me the best. Qin Feiyong shook his head with a smile and asked secretly, what do you think? Wolf King pondered for a while and said, in fact, it's not a bad idea. The 10 heroes of Qinghai are all geniuses. If we can take them as our subordinates, they will be of great use in the future, especially Dan Wang Kai. Why do you say that? Qin Feiyong asked. Because he knows alchemy. And his talent in alchemy is not bad. As long as we can subdue him, you don't have to make battle chi pills for us anymore, and you will have more time to cultivate. The most important thing is that I will have a few more awesome followers in the future. How cool will it be when I go out? Wolf King chuckled. That's why you asked me to subdue them, right? Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes and said, but Viper just said that this person is arrogant. I'm afraid it won't be easy to subdue him. That's easy. Doesn't this person claim to be the best alchemist in the world? As long as you show him a few tricks and let him know how powerful you are, I guarantee that he will be obedient. Wolf King said disdainfully. That makes sense. Qin Feiyong nodded. For an alchemist, alchemy fire and alchemy furnace were indispensable, but the most important thing was the recipe. If Dan Wang Kai were to see pills like the potential pill, there might not even be a need to threaten him. He would voluntarily lower his head and submit. Just as Qin Feiyong was thinking, his body suddenly shook violently. At the same time, the word kill between his eyebrows suddenly released a murderous intent that was countless times more terrifying than before. In an instant, the people and beasts in the ancient castle seemed to have fallen into a sea of murderous intent, and their bodies and minds trembled. Everyone hurriedly looked at Qin Feiyong, and their faces were suddenly filled with horror. At this moment, Qin Feiyong's long hair was as red as blood, and his scarlet eyes were like two seas of blood, full of bloodlust and indifference, like a puppet that had lost its humanity. In short, whether it was his eyes or his body, they were filled with a murderous and evil aura that could not be dispersed. How could this be? Lu Hong hurriedly got up and anxiously ran towards Qin Feiyong. However, as soon as she got close, Qin Feiyong suddenly raised his arm and grabbed her neck, his blood-red eyes revealing a kind of emotionless indifference. What a strange look! Seeing Qin Feiyong's eyes, Lu Hong's gaze trembled. However, there was no fear, nor was there alarm. She was only worried for Qin Feiyong. She was so worried that tears were flowing out of her eyes. This sudden turn of events gave the Wolf King and the other beasts quite a fright. The double-winged snow eagle hurriedly rushed up and shouted, "Little Qin Zi, what are you doing? Let go of her." Kiki. However, not only did Qin Feiyong turn a deaf ear to her, he even revealed a terrifying, evil grin. In addition to his blood-red hair and blood-red eyes, he looked extremely like a devil that came from hell. What the hell is going on? Everyone was in a mess. Suddenly, Wolf King looked at the kill character between Qin Feiyong's eyebrows, his pupils suddenly shrank, and he shouted, "Not good, it should be the kill formula that has eroded his consciousness." The kill formula has side effects. The pangolin beast was shocked. Wolf King said in a deep voice, "Such a bloody divine formula must have some side effects. The most important thing is that he has been using the kill formula for too long. Then what should we do? If we don't stop him, he may be possessed by the devil." The double-winged snow eagle roared, somewhat at a loss. "Nonsense, beat him." Wolf King shouted and took the lead to slap Qin Feiyong with his claws. The double-winged snow eagle, the pangolin beast, the black dragon snake, and the spirit snake emperor also immediately attacked Qin Feiyong. They wanted to use this method to call back Qin Feiyong's consciousness. Boom! Bang bang bang! But the current Qin Feiyong was an 8-star battle saint. How could they shake him? Qin Feiyong only waved his hand, and the beasts were all sent flying, crashing into the four walls, blood spurting out. "No! He is too strong now, we can't even get close to him." Wolf King shook his head, got up and looked at Viper. Viper also had a look of horror. Originally, Wolf King wanted Viper to help, because now, only Viper could compete with Qin Feiyong. But Viper's Qi had not been repaired, and his cultivation was lost. He was even weaker than them. How could he awaken Qin Feiyong? "Little Qin Zi, wake up." "Qin Feiyong, open your eyes and look carefully. We are brothers who have gone through fire and water with you. The woman in your hand is also a family member who has accompanied you to this day." The beasts roared. Now, they had no other choice but to roar to wake Qin Feiyong up. "Qin Feiyong? Is this his true identity?" Viper heard Wolf King and the other beasts call out Qin Feiyong's name, and his eyes were full of surprise. Hee. But from the beginning to the end, Qin Feiyong did not let go of Lu Hong, and the bloodthirst in his eyes became more and more intense. However, he didn't really want to kill. And if one looked carefully, one would find that there was a hint of struggle in his eyes, as if he was fighting against the killing intent. What should we do? Who can help him? Looking at Qin Feiyong's current appearance, Lu Hong's face was full of tears, and her heart was pierced by a knife. Whoosh! At this moment, the void was distorted, and a blood-red figure appeared in front of everyone out of thin air. Who is it? Everyone was shocked. Someone could break into the ancient castle? They hurriedly looked at the person. When they saw the person's face, everyone present turned pale with fright. It was a young man in blood-red clothes, blood-red hair, blood-red eyes, and a murderous aura that could not be dispersed from his body. The strangest thing was that the young man in blood-red clothes looked exactly the same as Qin Feiyong, whether it was his face or his figure. It could even be said that they were carved from the same mold. Moreover, the young man in blood-red clothes did not look like Qin Feiyong, but Qin Feiyong's original appearance. "Who are you? Why do you look exactly the same as little Qin Zi? I don't remember him having a twin brother." Chapter 1034. Who am I? The blood-red-clothed young man's eyes flickered with blood-red light as if a sea of blood was surging. He said, "Of course I can't be his twin brother, but we're the same person." The same person? Everyone was surprised. Looks like Qin Feiyong hasn't told you yet. That's true. If he told you, you'd be worried about him. The young man smiled coldly. The double-winged snow eagle asked, "What's the matter?" The blood-red-clothed young man grinned hideously. A long time ago, he already had an inner demon, and I'm his inner demon. What? Inner demons? Everyone was shocked. Everyone knew about the inner demons, but this was the first time they had seen it with their own eyes. Inner demons can only be born when someone is in extreme pain. What did he go through? Snake Viper was also in disbelief. This was too scary. Suddenly, Snake Viper seemed to have thought of something. His face changed and he shouted, "Oh no, get rid of him!" Everyone was shocked and looked at him suspiciously. Inner demons are formed from the darkest side of a person. There's no humanity in him, only killing. And no matter what kind of inner demons they are, they will fight with the original body for control of the body. Now that he's here, he must be trying to take advantage of the situation to erase Qin Feiyong's consciousness and replace him. If he really replaces Qin Feiyong, with his cruel nature, I'm afraid we won't be able to escape death. Snake Viper shouted anxiously. Replace. Everyone's face turned pale when they heard that. The so-called replacement meant destruction. Boom! Wolf King and the double-winged snow eagle rushed toward the inner demons. You're just an ant trying to shake a tree. The inner demon sneered and waved his hand. A blood-red wave roared and blew Wolf King and the double-winged snow eagle away. So powerful. Viper's pupils contracted. Lu Hong was also very anxious. She looked at the inner demons and begged, "Please don't hurt him." "Then can you give me a reason why you shouldn't hurt him?" The inner demons looked at Lu Hong playfully. Lu Hong stammered. The inner demons teased, "I know you like him and don't want to see him die, but is it worth it?" "Yes, I can die in his place," Lu Hong said resolutely. "What a foolish woman. You know, he only has the mermaid princess in his heart." The inner demons shook their heads and laughed. "Is that so?" Lu Hong's expression was slightly sluggish. The inner demon said, "Of course, I'm his inner demons. I know better than anyone what he's thinking. As for you, he only sees you as family. That's enough. I've never wanted too much. As long as I can stay by his side, it's enough." Lu Hong whispered. She looked at Qin Feiyong in front of her with deep feelings. "He's so lucky to have met such a good woman like you. But he's also stupid. Everyone around him has already seen your feelings for him, but he's still living in a dream and doesn't know anything. As Wang Zicheng said, he's really a person with a very low EQ." The inner demons shook their heads. There was a trace of sympathy in their eyes. "You even know Wang Zicheng?" Viper was surprised. The inner demon said, "Nonsense, I've always lived in his inner world. I know everything and everyone he meets." Viper said, "I'm very puzzled. Since you were born long ago, why didn't Qin Feiyong think of a way to get rid of you?" The inner demon sneered, "Because his obsession hasn't disappeared. He can't get rid of me." Obsession? Viper's pupils shrank. What obsession does this person have in his heart? How could he give birth to the inner demons? You used to live in this body and lived in peace. Why do you want to come out now? Wolf King said in a deep voice. "I'm tired of it. You won't understand how lonely and boring it is to stay in the inner world all the time. I've tried to seize control of this body several times, but this guy's temper is too bad. If I really did that, he would definitely die with me. So, I chose to endure and wait for the right time. I thought this day would be a long time coming, but I didn't expect it to come so soon." After he activated the kill formula, his murderous aura was too strong. It had already eroded his consciousness. With his current state, I can erase his consciousness with a casual wave of my hand. So I came out. And now no one can stop me. I will completely replace him and open up an era that belongs to me, Qin Feiyong. The inner demon's bloody hair fluttered in the wind. He was incomparably domineering. Then, he turned into a stream of light and disappeared between Qin Feiyong's eyebrows like lightning. Don't! Lu Hong cried out in grief, full of helplessness. Wolf King also roared hysterically, "Bastard, get out of his body for me!" It's too late. The inner demon's voice sounded from Qin Feiyang's body. Immediately after, Qin Feiyang closed his eyes and his temperament underwent a tremendous change. Boom! Finally! A monstrous murderous aura rushed out from Qin Feiyang's body. He also opened his eyes. Those blood-red eyes were filled with a bone-chilling coldness. Success! I've finally replaced him. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang looked at this body and suddenly laughed. It's over. Wolf King and the other beasts collapsed on the ground in despair. Everything was gone. Everything that Qin Feiyang did before was a wedding dress for the inner demons. Don't be like this. Although I'm the inner demons, I'm still Qin Feiyang. As long as you listen to me obediently in the future, I promise to treat you better than the original body. However, if you dare to go against me, I will kill you without mercy. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang grinned. His eyes were ruthless and indifferent. What about the slave seal? Viper asked. Of course the slave seal exists. Now you are my slave. A slave should have the consciousness of a slave. Don't bare your fangs and brandish your claws in front of me in the future. After all, I'm not as merciful as the original body. Kneel down immediately and call me master. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang shouted. Viper's body and mind trembled. He quickly knelt on the ground and respectfully said, "Greetings, master." That's more like it. Be obedient. There will be plenty of benefits for you in the future. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang smiled coldly. He then looked at Lu Hong and said with an evil smile, "The original body doesn't cherish you. That's because he is stupid. From now on, you are my woman." As he spoke, he hugged Lu Hong's slender waist. He lowered his head and greedily smelled Lu Hong's body fragrance. His eyes were full of lecherous smiles. "You demon, let go of me." Lu Hong struggled frantically. "Don't you like me? Now that your wish is granted, why are you still not happy?" The inner demon's Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. "The one I like is Qin Feiyang, not you." Lu Hong roared. "Is there a difference between me and Qin Feiyang? He is me and I am him. We are the same person. Come, submit to me. I will let you stay by my side for the rest of your life. Be a happy woman." The inner demon's Qin Feiyang laughed evilly. His hands directly pressed on Lu Hong's chest and began to knead it wantonly. "Get lost." Lu Hong was extremely ashamed and angry. She slapped Qin Feiyang's face. "You have a personality. I like it." The inner demon's Qin Feiyang was not angry. Instead, he laughed excitedly. "Ah!" But suddenly, he let out a scream and quickly let go of Lu Hong. He squatted on the ground and covered his chest. His face was distorted. Under the clothes on his chest, there was a trace of blood. That's right. It was the concentric knot. Damn concentric knot! The inner demon's Qin Feiyang roared angrily. When the pain disappeared, he got up and looked at Lu Hong. He laughed evilly. "I wanted to be intimate with you, but it seems that there is no other way. But don't worry, after I marry the mermaid princess, the concentric knot will disappear. At that time, I will immediately make you my woman." Lu Hong looked at him with disgust and retreated to the front of the Wolf King and the winged snow eagle. She said helplessly, "What should we do?" "Don't worry. There will be a way." The two beasts comforted her softly, but their eyes flashed with a shocking light. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang looked at the two beasts with disdain. He looked at Viper and said, "Hurry up and heal your injuries." Although the original body is dead, he still has to continue what he wants to do. "Yes, yes, yes." Viper nodded repeatedly. He sat cross-legged on the ground and closed his eyes to heal his qi. However, his heart couldn't calm down. The current Qin Feiyang was even more terrifying than the previous Qin Feiyang. If he was careless, he could lose his life. At the same time, the inner demon's Qin Feiyang also stopped using the kill art. His cultivation level quickly dropped to the level of a 3-star battle saint. However, his appearance didn't change at all. His blood-red hair and eyes emitted a shocking bloody aura. Time flew by. In the blink of an eye, half an hour had passed. Viper finally opened his eyes. He got up and looked at the inner demons Qin Feiyang and said respectfully, "Master, my injuries have completely healed." The inner demons Qin Feiyang nodded. He glanced at Lu Hong, Wolf King, and the other beasts and left the ancient castle with Viper. They appeared in the deep sea. Since Viper Island no longer existed, the exposed ancient castle would sink into the sea. The two avoided the sea beasts and flew out of the sea, standing in the sky above the sea. The inner demons Qin Feiyang said, "Send a message to them." "Them?" Viper was slightly surprised and asked, "Didn't you only ask Dan Wang Kai to come?" The inner demons Qin Feiyang said, "I changed my mind. Except for Wang Zicheng, call all of the 10 heroes of the Blue Sea here." "Master, what do you want to do?" Viper asked. "What do I want to do? Of course I want to make them all my slaves." The inner demons Qin Feiyang raised the corner of his mouth. His whole body emitted a monstrous domineering aura. Viper was shocked. One had to know. The 10 heroes of the Blue Sea were all geniuses. Each of them had mastered forbidden techniques and perfect combat arts. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that if they entered the Divine City, they would immediately become the favored sons of the heavens. If they didn't die, they would at least become formidable characters in the future. But now, this guy in front of him actually wanted to take all of the 10 heroes of the Blue Sea as his subordinates. Wasn't this guy too ambitious? The inner demons Qin Feiyang said impatiently, "Hurry up. After it's done, I'll give you a great opportunity to be reborn in an instant." "I really don't see what kind of opportunity you can give me." Chapter 1035. Hearing Viper's murmur, the inner demons Qin Feiyang sneered, "Let me give you a piece of advice. Don't underestimate anyone, especially me, Qin Feiyang. Also, don't doubt my words." Viper's eyes trembled. A layer of green quickly crawled up his skin. The inner demons Qin Feiyang looked at him suspiciously. "I've been with Dan Wang Kai and the others for a few hundred years. No one knows me better than them. If they see me seal the poison in my body, they will definitely be suspicious." Viper quickly explained. "Not bad. Very thoughtful." The inner demons Qin Feiyang nodded. "Thank you, Master," Viper said respectfully. He then took out the image crystal and sent a message to the 10 heroes of the Azure Sea. The inner demons Qin Feiyang retreated to the side and watched coldly. A moment later, other than Wang Zicheng, the 10 heroes of the Azure Sea were all notified. The inner demons Qin Feiyang also asked Viper to call the gorgeous woman back. Because the gorgeous woman was a 1-star combat emperor, she could be of help if something happened. About half an hour later, accompanied by the sound of waves, the gorgeous woman returned with Viper number 2. Is that Ancestor Mu?" "Yes, that's him. Although his hair and eyes are different from before, his facial features are exactly the same." "Why is he with Master Viper?" When the people on the ship saw Qin Feiyang, their faces immediately changed. "Greetings, Master Viper." A group of people flew up from the ship and landed in front of Viper. They then bowed respectfully. Viper nodded and pointed at Qin Feiyang. "This is Qin. Cough cough." The inner demons Qin Feiyang coughed and stared at Viper. Viper's heart trembled. He quickly changed his words. "This Ancestor Mu is now my master. You have to listen to him from now on." "Master? What's going on?" The gorgeous woman and the others were shocked. Viper's face turned cold as he shouted, "What are you all standing there for? Quickly kneel down and pay your respects to the Lord." "Greetings, Lord Mu." Immediately, hundreds of people uniformly knelt in the void and shouted respectfully. The scene was extremely spectacular. "Yes." The inner demons, Qin Feiyang, nodded coldly. He waved his hand and said, "Except for the red snake, everyone else scram." "Scram?" Everyone looked at each other. "Where were they going?" Viper shouted. "Hurry up and leave." "Where are we going?" Someone asked. "Even if you want to get lost, shouldn't you at least tell me where to go?" "Go wherever you want, don't be an eyesore here." Viper roared anxiously. These were all subordinates that he had taken great pains to subdue. If he angered this fiend and killed them all, then he would really want to cry but have no tears. "Yes, yes, yes." The group of people hurriedly responded. Then, they dispersed and quickly disappeared at the end of the sea. "My lord, What exactly is going on? The gorgeous woman glanced at Qin Feiyong and secretly asked Viper. Viper sighed and said, "It's a long story. I'll tell you when I have time. Where's Viper number 3? I've put it away." The gorgeous woman said. Viper secretly said, "Okay, put away Viper number 2 as well." The gorgeous woman nodded and waved her hand. Viper number 2, which was floating on the sea below, immediately began to shrink. In the end, it turned into a black light and disappeared into her forehead. However, at this moment, the inner demons, Qin Feiyong, stretched out his hand and looked at the gorgeous woman, saying, "Give it to me." The gorgeous woman was dumbfounded and looked at Viper. Viper's face was extremely ugly. It was obvious that Qin Feiyong wanted them to hand over Viper number 2. This was a genuine sacred artifact. The inner demons, Qin Feiyong, said with a cold face, "Do you need me to say it again?" "No need, no need." Viper hurriedly waved his hand and looked at the gorgeous woman angrily. "Master told you to give it to him immediately. Why are you looking at me? I've really seen a ghost today." The gorgeous woman muttered secretly. She was also quite angry, but since Viper had spoken, she didn't dare to disobey. She took out Viper number 2, erased the blood contract inside, and respectfully handed it to Qin Feiyong. "And Viper number 3. Qin Feiyong said. The gorgeous woman's face stiffened. "Here!" Viper shouted. Hearing this, the gorgeous woman obediently took out Viper number 3 and handed it to Qin Feiyong. Qin Feiyong also immediately cut his finger and dripped blood to bind it. Purple gold blood? The gorgeous woman was stunned and retreated to Viper's side. She asked in surprise, "Master, what's with his blood? It actually has a strong dragon aura. Is he a monster?" "How would I know? Maybe he really is the reincarnation of a monster." Viper muttered. "Tell her my plan. Remember, don't fail, or don't blame me for being ruthless." At this time, Qin Feiyong looked up at Viper and said coldly. Then he put away Viper number 2 and Viper number 3, stepped back a few feet, sat cross-legged in the void, and closed his eyes to rest. Plan. The gorgeous woman was stunned and turned to look at Viper suspiciously. Viper glanced at Qin Feiyong and whispered a few words in the gorgeous woman's ear. "What?" After hearing this, the gorgeous woman couldn't help but turn pale with fright. Was this man crazy? Was he planning to subdue the 10 heroes of Qinghai? Suddenly, Qin Feiyong opened his eyes and looked at the two of them. "By the way, don't you know Qin Feiyong? Who is Qin Feiyong?" The gorgeous woman was puzzled. "Qin Feiyong is such a famous person, but you don't know him. It seems that Qinghai is really a world of its own, just as Wang Zicheng said." Qin Feiyong murmured and then closed his eyes again. Viper and the gorgeous woman looked at each other and didn't know what to say for a while. At the same time, in Qin Feiyong's inner world, the inner world was still a blood-red world as before. Moreover, blood rain fell from the sky and the air was filled with a strong smell of blood. In the center of the inner world, a blood-red figure stood in the void. That figure was surrounded by a thick blood mist and his face couldn't be seen clearly. Only his eyes were closed and his body was trembling. Whoosh! Suddenly, a young man in blood-red clothes appeared in the inner world. It was Qin Feiyong's inner demons. The inner demons walked to the blood-red figure and looked at the closed eyes of the blood-red figure with a gloomy face. Alas! After a long time, the inner demon sighed and stretched out his hand to press between the eyebrows of the blood-red figure. Immediately, a blood-red evil spirit roared out from between the eyebrows of the blood-red figure and poured into the palm of the inner demons and was absorbed by the inner demons. As the evil spirit disappeared, the blood-red figure gradually became clear. Dozens of breaths later, his face was clearly displayed before everyone's eyes. It was another Qin Feiyong. But different from the inner demons, as the evil spirit disappeared, this Qin Feiyong's long hair turned black. And his skin was exactly the same as an ordinary person's. It was the original Qin Feiyong. It was such a good opportunity. Not only did I not erase his consciousness, but I also saved him. When did I become so kind? Am I still the inner demons? The inner demons retracted his arm, his face full of annoyance. At the same time, the blood rain in the sky also stopped. Just as the inner demons finished speaking, The black-haired Qin Feiyong let out a weak murmur and then slowly opened his eyes. Where is this? His eyes were as deep and bright as a black gem, but at this moment there was a trace of confusion. Inner world. The inner demons rolled his eyes. This voice is so familiar. The black-haired Qin Feiyong looked at the inner demons, his confused eyes suddenly became clear, and he asked suspiciously, "Why are you here? Why am I here?" The inner demons immediately became angry and roared, "You still have the nerve to ask me? Don't you know how to use the kill formula for the first time?" Kill formula. The black-haired Qin Feiyong was taken aback. Suddenly, pieces of memories emerged from the depths of his mind. He quickly looked at the inner demons and asked, "Is Lu Hong okay?" "She's fine. However, if I didn't stop it in time, I'm afraid not only Lu Hong but also the wolf cubs would have died in your hands." The inner demon said coldly. "Phew." The black-haired Qin Feiyong let out a long breath and said with a smile, "So you saved me." "Nonsense. Who can withstand the killing intent and evil spirit in your body except me?" The inner demons glared at him fiercely. Killing intent, evil spirit. The black-haired Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows and looked at himself. The killing intent of the kill formula is too strong. Especially when you absorb the blood of those holy beasts, it almost made you lose consciousness. But it's all right now. When you were unconscious, I had already absorbed all the killing intent and evil spirit. The inner demon said lightly. This, as if he had discovered a new continent, Qin Feiyong looked up and down at the inner demons carefully. "Don't look at me like that. Just now, I was also having an ideological struggle. Should I take the opportunity to erase your consciousness and replace it? But what the hell in the end? I unexpectedly helped you." The inner demons was furious. "That's because you have feelings for me." Qin Feiyong laughed mischievously. "Don't be disgusting. This time it's just my brain short-circuited." "Yes, that's it, don't think too much. If there is a next time, I will definitely not be merciful." The inner demon snorted through his nose. Qin Feiyong smiled and said, "No matter what, I still want to thank you for pulling me back from the hands of the Grim Reaper." "TSK." The inner demons disdainfully raised his middle finger and then said with a smirk, "But Lu Hong and the others all thought you were dead, and now they are crying sadly." Qin Feiyong was stunned and said with a dark face, "You didn't take the opportunity to do something, did you?" "I'm not you, I'm the inner demons, and I will definitely do something a little more despicable." The inner demons laughed and then said angrily, "You should have found a way to get rid of this concentric knot earlier. At the critical moment, it always comes out to make trouble." "You?" Qin Feiyong stared at him angrily. Although he didn't see the situation at that time, from the inner demon's words, he could imagine that he must have done something to Lu Hong. The inner demon said again, "But then again, that Lu Hong is really infatuated with you. Are you really going to let her down? Can you not ask such a sharp question?" Qin Feiyong frowned. "Even if I don't ask, you have to face it sooner or later. You can't play dumb for the rest of your life, right?" The inner demon said. Qin Feiyong pondered for a while and sighed, "We'll talk about it when the time comes. I'll go out and tell them that I'm safe, lest they worry." Wait. Chapter 1036. What's wrong? Qin Feiyong turned his head and looked at him suspiciously. The inner demon said discontentedly, "I saved you after all. Shouldn't you let me go out and have some fun? Haven't you been having fun for so long?" Qin Feiyong frowned. "How long has it been? At least give me a day." The inner demon said. "This," Qin Feiyong hesitated. "I say, you can't be like this. We agreed that I would go out and get some fresh air when I have time, but it's been so long, and there's no reaction at all. If you hadn't gone mad this time, I'm afraid you wouldn't have thought of me even after a few hundred years." The inner demons were very unhappy. Qin Feiyong was quite embarrassed. Indeed. Most of the time, he simply forgot about the existence of the inner demons. The inner demon said impatiently, "Can you do it or not? If you can't do it, don't blame me for hitting you when you're down next time." Qin Feiyong smiled helplessly and nodded, "Okay, as you wish, but I still have to tell the white-eyed wolf first, in case they do something stupid." The inner demon sneered, "They will do something stupid? You underestimate them too much. I'm afraid now, they are planning how to get rid of me." "Isn't this what you asked for?" Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes. Wouldn't it be fine if he just told the white-eyed wolf the truth directly? Why did he have to tease them? TSK. I don't care about those little bastards. But then again, you'd better not use the kill formula so easily in the future. Even if you want to use it, you can't use it for more than half an hour. The inner demon said. Half an hour? Qin Feiyong lowered his head and pondered. The inner demon said, according to my observation, half an hour should be the limit. Limit? Qin Feiyong mumbled. He looked up at the inner demons and said, say, if you activate the kill formula next time, will this happen? Me. The inner demons were stunned. They had never thought about this before. Qin Feiyong pondered and said, since you can absorb killing intent and baleful aura, it means that the kill character formula is not a threat to you. Right. I am the inner demons. Not only will these killing intent and evil spirits not affect me, but they will also make me stronger. The inner demons interrupted Qin Feiyong and nodded repeatedly. Then, in the future when I need to activate the kill formula, you will be in control of this body. Qin Feiyong smiled. Although the kill formula had side effects, as long as the inner demons were present, these side effects could be completely ignored. It's my pleasure. The inner demons also laughed. Outside, time trickled by. Whoosh. Suddenly, accompanied by the sound of something breaking through the air, a black figure broke through the air like lightning. He's here. Viper and the gorgeous woman looked up. Wisps of light flashed in the depths of their eyes. It was a young man in black. He was very short, estimated to be only about 1.5 meters tall. His body was also very thin. He could even be described as skinny as a match. His appearance was also very ugly. He had a pointy mouth and monkey cheeks. He winked like a little monkey. Moreover, his skin was extremely dark, as if he had smeared a layer of potash on his body. At the same time, Qin Feiyong also opened his eyes. His blood-red eyes were filled with a shocking bloody aura. Obviously. Now, the inner demons were still in control of this body. He is Dan Wangkai? When he saw the young man in black, the inner demon's Qin Feiyong's face suddenly became strange. No. He is the black monkey. Although he looks ugly, his strength is very terrifying. He ranks in the top 5 of the Qinghai 10 heroes. Viper secretly explained. Black monkey. The inner demon's Qin Feiyong smiled mockingly. This person's image and name were quite suitable. Whoosh. After a few breaths, the black monkey landed in front of Viper and glanced at the sea below. He was surprised and asked, where is Viper Island? Why is it gone? It's a long story. Viper sighed deeply. The black monkey glanced at Qin Feiyong, who was sitting not far away, and asked suspiciously, who is he? A friend. Viper said vaguely. You, Viper, have a friend? The black monkey seemed to have discovered a new continent. His eyes were shining and full of curiosity. Viper's face darkened. He said angrily, what do you mean? Can't I, Viper, have a few friends? Yes. The black monkey chuckled and said, tell me, why are you looking for me? Viper said, I found a treasure, but I don't know what it is. I want you to help me identify it. Treasure? The black monkey's eyes lit up and urged, take it out and let me see. Wait. After saying that, Viper winked at the gorgeous woman and took out his Chenkuan bag, pretending to look for it. The black monkey's attention was focused on Viper's Chenkuan bag, and did not notice that the gorgeous woman took out a dagger. Did you find it? Are you messing with me? Seeing that Viper did not take out the so-called treasure, the black monkey lost his patience and a ferocious aura crept up between his brows. Viper looked up at him and sighed. Brother monkey, don't blame me. I was forced to do this. What do you mean? The black monkey looked at him in confusion. However, the next moment, he felt a pain in his abdomen. Looking down, he saw a dagger piercing through his abdomen. Whoosh. He turned around and looked at the gorgeous woman with killing intent in his eyes. I'm sorry. The gorgeous woman smiled charmingly and retreated to the side after pulling out the dagger. Immediately, blood spurted out from the black monkey's abdomen. His aura dissipated quickly, and he was reduced to a cripple in the blink of an eye. The black monkey immediately turned to Viper and said angrily, Old poison, how dare you plot against me? Viper shrugged and said innocently, I told you I was forced to do this. Forced? The black monkey was shocked. Who had the ability to force the 10 heroes of the Blue Sea to do this? While the black monkey was still in shock, Viper reached out his hand and grabbed the black monkey's clothes. Like a little chick, he twisted the black monkey and walked toward Qin Feiyong. Viper, what are you doing? Let me go! The black monkey roared in anger. However, when it glanced at Qin Feiyong from the corner of its eyes, it suddenly thought of something and stared at Qin Feiyong. Could it be him? But this person was only a 3-star battle saint. How could he force the old poison? Viper walked in front of Qin Feiyong and said respectfully, Master, please punish me. Master? The black monkey was stunned. He suddenly turned to Viper and roared, What's going on? An 8-star battle saint, one of the Blue Sea's 10 heroes, actually called a 3-star battle saint as his master. Wasn't this too ridiculous? If he didn't hear it with his own ears, he wouldn't believe it even if he was beaten to death. You'll know what's going on later. Viper smiled coldly. Bastard, submitting to a 3-star battle saint, do you still deserve to be one of the Blue Sea's 10 heroes? I'm really ashamed of you. The black monkey roared. Viper was also angry and roared. Do you think I want to? But some things are destined and can't be changed. Speaking of this, Viper snorted and said disdainfully, Don't be in a hurry to scold me. Because later you'll be like me, obediently submitting to my master. Submitting to him? Stop dreaming. Even if I die, I won't submit to a 3-star battle saint. The black monkey sneered and looked at Qin Feiyong with contempt. Is that so? The inner demons, Qin Feiyong, grinned and his eyes flashed. Yes. You'd better kill me now. Otherwise, after I repair my Qi, I won't let you go. The black monkey said. Then I'd like to see if your bones are that hard. Qin Feiyong formed a seal with both hands. A slave seal quickly condensed and entered the black monkey's head like lightning. Ah! The black monkey suddenly screamed and felt that its head was about to explode. But soon. Then the pain disappeared. Qin Feiyong took out a spirit sea pill and threw it to the black monkey. He said playfully, Hurry up and repair your Qi. I'm still waiting for you to kill me. You're actually giving me a spirit sea pill? It seems like you're really not afraid of death. Haven't you heard that letting the tiger return to the mountain will cause endless trouble? The black monkey caught the spirit sea pill and stared at Qin Feiyong in astonishment. Letting the tiger return to the mountain? That depends on whether you're a real tiger or not. Qin Feiyong pursed his lips in disdain. All right, just you wait. The black monkey smiled sinisterly. He swallowed the spirit sea pill and began to repair his Qi. So, at this time, in the distance, there was another sound of breaking wind. The few of them looked towards the source of the sound and saw a white figure riding the wind and breaking the waves, speeding towards them. He's Dan Wang Kai. We can't let the black monkey stay here. Otherwise, when he sees the black monkey's injuries, Dan Wang Kai will definitely be suspicious. Snake hurriedly said to Qin Feiyong. The black monkey sneered. I'm not going anywhere. I'll stay here. That's not up to you. The inner demons. Qin Feiyong glanced at him mockingly. With a wave of his hand, he sent the black monkey to the castle. Master, Dan Wang Kai only knows how to make pills. In his eyes, other than making pills, there's nothing that can attract him. So to deal with him, you don't have to cripple his cultivation like you did with the black monkey. Snake said in a low voice. The inner demons, Qin Feiyong said. You mean you want me to show him my skills? That's right. As long as he sees your talent in alchemy, I guarantee that he'll be obedient to you. Snake said. I'm not as patient as the real me. The inner demons, Qin Feiyong snorted from his nose, got up and said. Same as before, cripple him. Yes. Snake's eyes trembled and quickly nodded in response. That's right. The current Qin Feiyong was no longer the Qin Feiyong from before. Now, the inner demons were in charge. With the inner demon's personality, how could they do such a troublesome thing? Next, Qin Feiyong lowered his head and stood behind Snake with the gorgeous woman, pretending to be Snake's subordinates. Whoosh! Soon, the white figure descended in the void in front of the three of them. It was a young man who was about 1.8 meters tall. He was wearing a white robe and appeared rather thin. His appearance was also very ordinary. And in between his eyebrows, there was an eye-catching flame symbol. Chapter 1037. Viper raised his eyebrows and said with a sinister smile, "I would like to see how you are going to be rude." Dan Wangcai's overbearing attitude made him extremely unhappy. "Are you provoking me?" Dan Wangcai's face turned cold. Viper was about to speak, but Qin Feiyong transmitted his voice to him. "Don't talk nonsense. Settle this quickly." Viper's heart skipped a beat. He suppressed the anger in his heart and said, "Do you see Viper Island?" Dan Wangcai lowered his head and glanced at the sea below. Viper Island was nowhere to be seen. He frowned and said, "What happened?" Viper said, "Someone came and said that he wanted to provoke us, the 10 heroes of the Blue Sea. Viper Island was destroyed by him." "Who is it?" Dan Wangcai was surprised and puzzled. Viper quietly approached Dan Wangcai and said, "I don't know his name. I only know that he is an 8-star battle saint and is very powerful. He even broke my forbidden technique." "What?" Dan Wangcai turned pale with fright. The forbidden technique was the most powerful technique of the 10 heroes of the Blue Sea. How could it be broken by someone? Moreover, the other party's cultivation was the same as Viper's, an 8-star battle saint. This was too unbelievable. Dan Wangcai was still wary of Viper. After all, Viper was notorious. Moreover, they were also part of the 10 heroes of the Blue Sea. Naturally, they knew Viper's character well. Therefore, whether it was now or in the past, he would always be cautious whenever he was with Viper. However, Dan Wangcai was shocked by Viper's words. He had unknowingly let his guard down. This was undoubtedly a good opportunity for Viper. Viper took the opportunity and stepped forward. He grabbed Dan Wangcai's neck and raised his other arm. Battle chi gushed out from his fingertips and instantly entered Dan Wangcai's sea of chi. "Ah!" Dan Wangcai screamed in pain as blood spurted out from his lower abdomen. "You!" He stared at Viper in shock and anger. Viper sneered and said, "That's why you let your guard down. I have to admit that you are the most difficult person to deal with among the 10 heroes of Qinghai. So you wanted to plot against me. Why did you do that?" Dan Wangcai couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. He didn't expect that the old poison had hidden himself so deeply. Viper did not answer. Instead, he dragged Dan Wangcai to Qin Feiyong and smiled flatteringly. "Master, how was your subordinate's performance?" "Master? What's going on? Isn't he your subordinate?" Dan Wangcai was bewildered. "With my little ability, do I have the qualifications to make him my subordinate?" Viper laughed at himself. Dan Wangcai became even more bewildered. Was this still the Viper he knew? How could he slander him like this? Qin Feiyong glanced at Dan Wangcai, and then looked up at Viper with a grin. "You did well. I'm a man of my word. I'll give you a great fortune later." "Master, can you not mention the great fortune?" Viper smiled bitterly. He admitted that Qin Feiyong's methods were indeed very frightening, but to bestow upon him great fortune, how was that possible? It was useless to say more. Qin Feiyong directly made a hand seal and controlled Dan Wangcai. "What did you do to me?" Dan Wangcai stared at Qin Feiyong in shock and anger. "As the #1 alchemist in the Internal Sea, you should have spirit sea pills. If you want to settle accounts with me, go repair your Qi Sea." Inner demons. Qin Feiyong didn't answer. After saying that, he waved his hand and sent Dan Wangcai to the castle. Viper whispered, "Master, they are all unruly people. If you let them stay in the castle alone, I'm afraid they will hurt Lu Hong and the others when their Qi Sea is repaired." "Don't worry. I'll calculate the time when they repair their Qi Sea. Besides, it doesn't matter even if they kill those small fries." Inner demons. Qin Feiyong waved his hand coldly. When he said this, a sly look flashed in the depths of his eyes. Obviously, he deliberately said this to Wolf King and the others. "Bastard! How dare you call us small fries? You've gone too far." Sure enough, Wolf King and the other beasts in the castle were furious. Lu Hong shouted, "Calm down. We can't fight with him now because we still have to avenge Qin Feiyong." "Yes, we must kill him. Although little Qinzi is dead, we can't let that bastard control little Qinzi's body and do whatever he wants." The two-winged snow eagle said coldly. You were also taken captive? Black Monkey and Dan Wang Kai looked at each other and asked after seeing Lu Hong, Wolf King and the other beasts filled with grief and indignation. Shut up. We're not like you. This is our home. We'll take it back from that damned beast sooner or later. Wolf King shouted, full of hostility. Black Monkey and Wolf King looked at each other again, a light flashing in their eyes. Dan Wang Kai smiled and said, you can't do it with your abilities. Why don't we work together? Work together? Do you think we're stupid? We don't know what you're thinking. Let me tell you, if you dare to have any ideas about this castle, I'll make sure you die a horrible death. Wolf King shouted. This was Qin Feiyong's property. No one could touch it. Dan Wang Kai smiled embarrassedly and sat cross-legged next to Black Monkey. Both of them fell silent. Because they could see that Lu Hong, Wolf King and the other beasts were filled with anger and killing intent at this moment. If they provoked them verbally, they would probably go berserk on the spot. Although Wolf King and the other beasts were not as strong as the two of them, their sea of qi had been destroyed and they had lost all their cultivation. If they really fought, they would be the ones at a disadvantage. However, the two of them began to communicate in secret. Black Monkey glanced at the Netherworld Devil Flame and said, Dan Wang Kai, do you see that elixir fire? It seems to be a 7th grade elixir fire. Yes. Dan Wang Kai nodded his head without leaving a trace and said, and that pill furnace, according to my judgment, should be a 7th grade pill furnace. The pill furnace that Qin Feiyong was using was indeed a 7th grade pill furnace, called the Fire Luan Furnace. It was a congratulatory gift that the pavilion master of the trading pavilion had given to Qin Feiyong during the apprenticeship ceremony. Black Monkey looked at the 2 iron boxes on the altar that contained the 6-word divine arts and the alchemy scripture. His eyes were filled with greed as he thought to himself, there must be some treasures in those 2 iron boxes. Dan Wang Kai sent a sound transmission. Don't leave any traces. When our sea of qi is restored, we'll let him rob us all. Black Monkey nodded, and the greed in his eyes quickly disappeared. Outside, Qin Feiyong and the other 2 waited for a moment, and finally, the 3rd person came. It was a burly man, more than 2 meters tall, with a head of thick black hair, and his entire body was filled with a valiant aura. It's the Big Bull. Although this person is well developed, he's not stupid at all. He's not easy to deal with. Viper said in a low voice. I know that. Qin Feiyong nodded his head. He now had a general understanding of the Azure Sea's 10 heroes. In terms of intelligence, not many people among the Azure Sea's 10 heroes could be compared to the Big Bull. Whoosh! However, 4 more people came from other directions at the same time. They were 3 men and 2 women. All of them looked young and had an extraordinary temperament. The aura they emitted was also unfathomable. Including the Big Bull, there were 6 people. The Azure Sea's 10 heroes, except for Wang Zicheng, were all here. However, the 6 of them came at the same time, which became a big problem. Why are they all here together? Viper's expression changed slightly. He turned his head to look at Qin Feiyong and asked, what should we do now? Qin Feiyong's expression was also quite ugly. Each of the Azure Sea's 10 heroes could display the strength of a 1-star combat emperor. It would be fine if there were only 1 or 2 of them, but it would be difficult to deal with 6 of them at once. The most powerful person here was the gorgeous woman. With her strength, it was impossible for her to cripple the cultivation of 6 people at once. If she couldn't cripple the cultivation of 6 people at once, they would be the ones to suffer in the end. Let's call it a day. Come closer. I'll give you a way to deal with them. Qin Feiyong said. Viper came closer. Qin Feiyong whispered a few words in his ear and went directly to the ancient castle. If they captured them by force and failed, Viper would be useless. It would undoubtedly be more difficult to capture them in the future. Therefore, it was better to give up temporarily to avoid alerting the enemy. Anyway, there was still a long way to go. They could slowly think of a way to capture the rest of the Azure Sea's 10 heroes. After a dozen breaths, the Big Bull and the other 5 arrived in front of Viper. The Big Bull glanced at the non-existent Viper Island and then glanced at the other 3 men and 2 women. He frowned and said, Viper, why did you call us here? Ancestor Mu is here. Viper said in a deep voice. The big bull raised his eyebrows and asked, Viper Island was destroyed by him? Yes. Viper nodded. That's impossible. When we separated in the external endless sea, Ancestor Mu had just become a 2-star battle saint. How could he do that? Could it be that Wang Zicheng is helping him? The big bull said. No. He came alone. He's not a 2-star battle saint but an 8-star battle saint. Also, the one-eyed dragon and black snake were killed by him. Even Viper number 2 and Viper number 3 were taken by him. Frankly speaking, I called you here to ask for your help. I can't let this matter rest, Viper said coldly. The 6 of them looked at each other. To them, all of this was simply a fantasy story. The gorgeous woman said, It's true. Ancestor Mu has a kind of invisibility art. He can come and go without a trace. That's how he killed Black Snake with a single slash. It seems like I've underestimated him. But why should we help you? The big bull stared at Viper with a playful look. The other 5 also had a gloating look on their faces. Viper said, As long as you help me find him, I won't interfere when the alchemy fire appears. The big bull's face darkened. Old Viper, what do you mean? We agreed to work together to snatch the alchemy fire. You still have the nerve to talk about working together. It's fine if you don't help me when I'm in trouble. But you're asking me why? Then tell me, why should I work with you? Viper transmitted his voice. The barbarian bull's brows raised as he looked at the other 3 men and 2 women, and he said, Even though this fellow Viper is slightly detestable, we're the 10 elites of the Azure Sea after all. Now that Ancestor Mu has provoked him, it's equivalent to provoking us. So, we should help him at this moment. That's true. But I have a condition. After we're done, give me a bottle of the sacred water you concocted. One of the women said. I want a bottle too. The other woman also laughed. They had long been drooling over the sacred water that could cure hundreds of poisons. However, Viper wouldn't give them a drop no matter how much they begged in the past. So, they naturally wouldn't let go of such a good opportunity. Viper's eyes flashed and he nodded. All right, I promise. After we're done, I'll give each of you a bottle. The 6 of them laughed. After that, they whispered to each other for a while, and then the 6 of them left. Phew. Viper let out a long breath, but a trace of suspicion crept onto his face. The gorgeous woman by the side also had a puzzled expression. She walked to Viper's side and said in a low voice, My lord, why did that Qin Feiyang want you to say that? Isn't he making enemies for himself? I'm not sure either. Viper shook his head. Then has he left? The gorgeous woman glanced at the void and frowned. I don't know. Viper shook his head again. He had roamed the inland sea for hundreds of years and had never felt so helpless before. Boom. After an unknown period of time, a huge wave suddenly rose on the surface of the sea. Qin Feiyang broke through the waves, his hair and eyes still blood-red. Chapter 1038. Did you do as I told you? The inner demon's Qin Feiyang asked. Yes, but I don't understand. Why are you doing this? Aren't you afraid that they will really find trouble with you? Viper looked confused. That's exactly what I want. Because this way, I can defeat them one by one. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang smiled ferociously. Viper suddenly understood. It turned out that his master had not given up on the idea of capturing others. Come with me to the castle. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang waved his hand and led Viper and the other 2 to the castle. This is... The gorgeous woman looked around in surprise. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang was already used to this, because anyone who entered the castle for the first time would have such a reaction. The Black Monkey and Dan Wang Kai were still repairing their Sea of Qi. Lu Hong, Wolf King, and the other beasts all stared at the inner demon's Qin Feiyang with grief and indignation. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang stepped forward and landed in front of Lu Hong. He lifted Lu Hong's chin and smiled. Little beauty, are you a little impatient to be my woman? Bastard! Lu Hong spat, her eyes full of disgust. At the same time, in the inner world, Qin Feiyang's face also darkened and blue veins popped out. This bastard was obviously doing this on purpose. You have personality. I like it. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang smiled, got up and walked to the front of the altar. He opened the iron box of the 6-word formula. In addition to the iron book, there was also a Xueqi bag. And this Xueqi bag was full of potential pills, red fireglass pills, and Xueqi yellow dragon pills. Back then, when Lu Xingchen and Mu Qing entered the castle, Qin Feiyang was afraid that they would mess around, so he put all these pills in the iron box. Because the iron box could only be opened with his blood, there was nowhere safer than here. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang grabbed the Xueqi pouch and turned to look at Venom Snake, saying, "Now, I will bestow upon you a great fortune." Viper looked at the Xueqi pouch in bewilderment. However, he raised his eyebrows in disapproval. There might really be some treasure in this Cosmos sack, but he still didn't believe that it was some great fortune. Haha. Everything here is ours. Die. However, at this moment, the Black Monkey and Dan Wangkai leaped up at the same time, attacking the inner demon's Qin Feiyang from both sides. The gorgeous woman was startled and was about to attack. However, Viper gave her a look, and the gorgeous woman understood. She did not make another move, but stood aside and watched coldly. Lu Hong, Wolf King, and the other beasts looked at each other and did not interfere. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang saw all of this, but he was not angry. He looked at Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing with a playful smile. Both of them were 9-star battle saints. They were extremely fast and landed in front of the inner demon's Qin Feiyang in the blink of an eye. Without saying anything, they clenched their fists and attacked Qin Feiyang's head and heart. They were afraid that a long delay would cause trouble, so they wanted to kill Qin Feiyang in one blow. Your courage is commendable, but your methods are still lacking. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang smiled hideously and activated the seal of slavery. Ah! Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing fell to the ground. Their noses were bruised and their eyes were swollen. They held their heads and howled in pain. What a pair of useless trash. Viper cursed silently. He wanted to use Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing to get rid of Qin Feiyang so that he could regain his freedom. However, he did not expect the two of them to be so useless. They did not even move a finger and were already lying on the ground crying and howling. He knew that he could not remain silent anymore. Otherwise, he would definitely arouse the dissatisfaction of Qin Feiyang. He stepped forward and kicked Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing away. He spat out blood and shouted, "How dare you be so rude to Master? You're courting death." Then, he turned to Qin Feiyang and said indignantly, "Master, these two are really stubborn. We can't let them live. Otherwise, there will be endless trouble in the future." "Then what do you think we should do?" The inner demon's Qin Feiyang looked at him mockingly. Viper said, "Master, as long as you give the order, I will immediately cut off their heads and make them into stools for you to sit on." "Old poison, you spineless coward. You're a disgrace to the 10 heroes of Qinghai." Mu Qing roared as he endured the pain in his head and stared at Viper angrily. Viper said righteously, "The 10 heroes of Qinghai are nothing. I only have one wish now, and that is to do my best for Master until my death." "Bastard! Do you have any backbone? Do you have any dignity as a human being?" Mu Qing and Mu Qing were extremely angry. Viper's eyes flashed with murderous intent. He turned to Qin Feiyang and said respectfully, "Master, please deal with them. Okay. Help me chop off their heads. While you're at it, help me turn their heads into wine cups. It must be delicious to drink wine in wine glasses made from their heads." The inner demon's Qin Feiyang licked his lips. His eyes were filled with a strong bloodthirsty light. He was like a demon, chilling people. Hee. Viper sneered and walked toward Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing. Looking at Qin Feiyang's blood-red eyes and Viper's ferocious expression, Dan Wangkai and Black Monkey felt a deep fear from the bottom of their hearts. "Master, please spare our lives. We don't want to die. Please give us a way out. We swear that we'll serve you wholeheartedly in the future. If we have second thoughts, may the heavens and earth destroy us." At the moment of death, the two abandoned their dignity without hesitation and chose to live. After all, no one wanted to die. "It's too late," Viper sneered. He had wanted to kill the rest of the 10 heroes of Qinghai for a long time, but he hadn't found the opportunity. Now that he had such a good opportunity, how could he let it go? Whoosh! Before Qin Feiyang changed his mind, He landed in front of the two like lightning. He stretched out his hands like an eagle's claws and grabbed Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing's heads. His murderous intent was bone-piercing. No! The two screamed in desperation. It's useless. You're going to die today. Viper sneered. Stop. But before he could finish his words, Qin Feiyong's voice rang out. The smile on Viper's face froze, but he gritted his teeth and continued to attack Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He didn't want to give it up. You're courting death. Qin Feiyong, the inner demon's eyes turned cold. With a thought, Viper held his head and screamed. He quickly knelt on the ground and begged, Master, please spare my life. I know I was wrong. Please don't kill me. I beg you. Qin Feiyong, the inner demon, said. Even if you're a dragon, you'd better coil up in front of me. Yes, yes, yes. I won't do it again. Viper nodded repeatedly. He was terrified to the extreme. Humph. Don't do it again. Otherwise, even if you're useful to me, I won't be merciful. Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, snorted coldly. He stopped using the seal of slavery. Only then did the pain in Viper's head disappear. I understand. Viper nodded and wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. He then got up and retreated to the side. He was terrified. Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, looked at Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing and said, Are you sincerely submitting to me? Sincerely, sincerely. After witnessing Qin Feiyong's methods, the two of them didn't dare to have any other thoughts. They obeyed. Very good. Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, glanced at Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing and Viper and said, From now on, the three of you will be my left and right arms. As long as you're loyal, I won't mistreat you. Yes, Master. The three of them knelt on one knee and were extremely respectful. Get up. Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, waved his hand and said, Yes. The three of them got up and looked at each other. There was a hint of sadness in their eyes. The 10 heroes of Qinghai had dominated this sea area and made countless people tremble in fear. They didn't expect that one day they would become someone's slaves. Don't look unwilling. Following me won't bury your talents. Instead, it will make you more dazzling. Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, said. The three of them smiled apologetically, but they didn't think so in their hearts. Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, smiled coldly and took out a potential pill from his Chengkuan bag. He placed it in his palm and said, Do you know what this is? The three of them looked at the potential pill. I've refined countless pills, but I've never seen this pill before. Dan Wangkai moved closer, his eyes full of surprise. What? Even you haven't seen it before? Hearing this, the venomous snake, the black monkey, and the glamorous woman were astounded. Do you know about the Gate of Potential? Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, asked. Gate of Potential? Viper and the other two were stunned. Then, a trace of arrogance appeared on their faces. Dan Wangkai said proudly, We, the 10 heroes of Qinghai, have all opened the Gate of Potential. Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, was shocked and asked, Which level? Viper said, We've all opened the first level. Wang Zicheng is more powerful than us. He has already opened the second level. No wonder he could forcefully break through the holy aura of a 1-star combat emperor. Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, muttered. He then took off his clothes and sneered. Then look, how many levels have I opened? Viper and the other two were stunned when they saw the potential mark on his chest. That mark was dark gold in color. They had never heard of a dark gold potential mark. How could they know which level it was? The 6th level. Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, said. Boom. It was as if a bolt of lightning had exploded in their heads. Their bodies and minds were trembling. It was the 6th level of the Gate of Potential. Oh my God, how did he do it? The beautiful woman also had a look of disbelief. Could it be related to the elixir in his hands? The four of them looked at the potential elixir again. The shock in their eyes was even stronger. You're right. I can open the Gate of Potential because of this potential elixir. And these few, such as Wolf Cub and Lu Hong, have all opened the 5th and 6th level. One of my subordinates has even opened the 7th level. Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, said. The subordinate he was referring to was Yan Wei. The 7th level. Isn't that the ultimate combat saint realm? It can even break through the ultimate combat saint realm. This elixir is amazing. The few of them were so shocked that they couldn't even close their mouths. So this is the great fortune. Viper's eyes trembled. He suddenly knelt on the ground and begged, Master, please give the subordinate the potential elixir. Master, please give us the potential elixir too. Chapter 1039. So realistic. Isn't that right? Previously, he looked like he would rather die than submit. Now that he heard about the potential pill, he immediately bowed and fawned like a mangy dog. So the Qinghai 10 heroes are just as Wolf King and the other beasts couldn't help but mock Viper and the other two who were kneeling on the ground without any regard for their dignity. Viper and the other two were quite embarrassed when they heard that. But when they thought of the benefits brought by the potential pill, they immediately made up their minds. They must get the potential pill. As for their dignity, they could slowly get it back when they became stronger. And in the cruel world of cultivation, this was a very realistic problem. Without powerful strength, the so-called dignity would only be ruthlessly trampled on by others. Looking at the three's performance, the inner demon's Qin Feiyang's face was full of ridicule. He said, Now you want it, but who was the one who questioned my ability again and again? Viper was ashamed. Enough. I'll stop teasing you. Now, I'll give each of you one. As for the future, it will depend on your performance. Whoever performs well, I'll help you unlock the next few levels of the potential door. After the inner demon's Qin Feiyang finished speaking, he took out 2 more potential pills and threw them to Viper and the other 2. Thank you, Master. We'll definitely perform well in the future and won't let you down. The 3 grabbed the potential pills as if they had received a treasure. They were grateful. Seeing that Qin Feiyang didn't mention her at all, the gorgeous woman on the side couldn't help but feel anxious. She also wanted such a powerful potential pill. She quickly went up to Qin Feiyang and said in a coquettish voice, Master, what about me? You. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. The gorgeous woman said, Yes, I also contributed to capturing Dan Wang Kai and the Black Monkey. Besides, I'm more valuable than them. Red Snake, what are you doing? Viper shouted coldly. Dan Wang Kai and the Black Monkey were also dissatisfied. This woman clearly wanted to compete with them for favor. The inner demons, Qin Feiyang, glanced at the 3 of them and said, Let her speak. Yes. The 3 of them replied respectfully and fell silent. Master, look, although I don't have any forbidden techniques, my cultivation is stronger than theirs. More importantly, I am a woman. If Master needs me, I can serve you at any time. The beautiful woman chuckled. She didn't hide the unvarnished intention in her words. Really? Qin Feiyang showed a very interested look. Yes. As long as Master doesn't mind, I'll be yours from now on. The more the gorgeous woman spoke, the more intimate she became. She even leaned her whole body on Qin Feiyang. Dan Wang Kai said angrily, Viper, why did you take her in as your subordinate? Aren't you just looking for trouble? Are you blaming me? Viper glared at him. Who would have thought that this day would come? Who should I blame if not you? Dan Wang Kai was furious. Viper said angrily, I'm curious. Is this your first day knowing Red Snake? She has always been like this. That's enough, stop arguing. Red Snake is a slut. She's good at dealing with men. Master is obviously a little chick. He might not be able to control himself. Black Monkey said. Yeah. Master is young and vigorous. How can he be indifferent to being seduced by a woman? It seems that our position in Master's heart can't be compared to this woman. Dan Wang Kai sighed. Snake Viper was also feeling bitter. If it was in the past, he would still dare to order Red Snake. But now, he had become someone else's slave. How could he control Red Snake? Filthy woman, stay away from him. But suddenly, an angry shout sounded. Everyone looked at Lu Hong. They saw Lu Hong's face was cold and her eyes were about to spit fire. The gorgeous woman's eyes flashed coldly. She turned to Lu Hong and said, Who are you calling dirty? You. Lu Hong ran up angrily and violently pushed the gorgeous woman away from Qin Feiyang. Interesting. The inner demons, Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed. He stepped forward and hugged the gorgeous woman. He stared at Lu Hong and said, I can be with whoever I want. Why do you care? Who do you think you are? The gorgeous woman's face suddenly showed a trace of pride. She snuggled in Qin Feiyong's arms like a little bird. Lu Hong became angrier and angrier. She said angrily, I can't care about your business. But your body now belongs to Qin Feiyong. I won't allow you to use his body to touch this kind of woman. What kind of woman am I? Tell me clearly. The gorgeous woman's eyes became colder and colder. Lu Hong snorted and said, Humph, I'm already being merciful by saying that you're fickle and shameless. Yes, I'm fickle and shameless. But so what? As long as I can please a man, I'll be considered capable. And you look very pure, but to put it bluntly, you're just a vase. You look good but you're useless. The gorgeous woman retorted sarcastically. Lu Hong was about to explode with anger. Suddenly, she took out a dagger and stared at the inner demons, Qin Feiyong, and said, You won't stop, right? Well, today, even if I have to risk my life, I'll die with you. After that, Lu Hong grabbed the dagger and rushed toward the inner demons, Qin Feiyong. How dare you? The gorgeous woman's killing intent rose as she stepped in front of Qin Feiyong. The Emperor's might roared out and Lu Hong was sent flying on the spot, crashing into the wall behind her. Her face instantly paled and blood gushed out of her mouth. Inner demons, don't go too far. Wolf King and the other beasts quickly surrounded Lu Hong and glared at the inner demons, Qin Feiyong. What does it have to do with me? I didn't do anything. The inner demons shrugged. It's over, it's completely over. Looks like we'll have to call her madam from now on. Old Poison, express your current thoughts. After all, the red snake used to be your subordinate. Dan Wong Kai and the black monkey secretly mocked. Are you guys done? Viper's face was ashen. Dan Wong Kai laughed. Look at your face, it's as if your ancestor's grave has been dug up. Scram! Viper secretly shouted, about to go crazy. Get out of my way! Suddenly, a sharp and ear-piercing voice rang out. Viper and the other two looked over and saw the gorgeous woman arrogantly walking towards Wolf King and the other beasts. What do you want to do? Wolf King stood in front of Lu Hong and said gloomily. That woman's mouth is dirty. Of course I have to slap her. Seeing that the inner demons, Qin Feiyong did not ask, the gorgeous woman thought that he had acquiesced and became even more arrogant. How dare you! The dual-winged snow eagle also stood in front of Lu Hong, its eyes flashing with shocking killing intent. A group of battle saints dares to be so arrogant in front of me, a battle emperor. You really don't know what's good for you. The gorgeous woman sneered. The terrifying emperor's might turned into a torrent and directly sent Wolf King and the dual-winged snow eagle flying. If you want to touch her, you'll have to step over our dead bodies first. The pangolin beast, black dragon snake, and ghost snake emperor stood in front of Lu Hong. The gorgeous woman raised her eyebrows and glanced at the inner demons, Qin Feiyong. Seeing that the inner demons, Qin Feiyong, had no intention of stopping her, she sneered, All right, I'll fulfill your wish. She took a step forward and landed in front of the three beasts. She raised her arm and slapped towards the pangolin beast and the others. Obviously, she really had the intention to kill. Who gave you the guts to hurt them? But at this moment, an explosive shout exploded, bringing with it a bone-chilling coldness. Everyone couldn't help but tremble and quickly turned their heads to look. The gorgeous woman also retracted her arm and looked back at Qin Feiyong in confusion. Because the person who shouted was Qin Feiyong. But at this moment, his hands were clenched tightly and his face was frighteningly gloomy. Moreover, his blood-red hair and eyes were also quickly fading away. That's right. Qin Feiyong's original body was back. He could see everything that was happening outside in his inner world. Seeing that the inner demons were getting more and more out of hand, he couldn't help but take back control of his body. Look, how come his hair and eyes have returned to normal? Could it be that little Qin Zi is not dead? He's back? Seeing Qin Feiyong's hair and eyes quickly turning black, Wolf King and the other beasts' eyes were full of surprise. It does look like the original body is back, but didn't the inner demons say that they have erased the original body's consciousness? Viper whispered, also very surprised and doubtful. Inner demons? Original body? Old poison, what do you mean? Dan Wong Kai and the Black Monkey looked at Viper suspiciously. This person gave birth to the inner demons. Before, it was the inner demons that were controlling this body, but the original body's consciousness was erased by the inner demons not long ago. Viper thought to himself, how is that possible? The inner demons are ethereal things. How can they really exist? Both of them were dumbfounded. The gorgeous woman looked at Qin Feiyong suspiciously for a moment, then walked up to Qin Feiyong with her enchanting body. She hugged Qin Feiyong's arm and said sadly, Master, what's wrong with you? You scared me. However, before she could finish her words, the gorgeous woman's face turned pale, and then she collapsed to the ground and screamed in pain. Everyone hurriedly looked down and suddenly changed color. There was a bloody hole in the gorgeous woman's lower abdomen, and blood was spurting out like an arrow. At the same time, it was unknown when a dagger had appeared in Qin Feiyong's hand, and it was dripping with blood. What's going on? Everyone was confused. It's Chang Shui. Is little Qin Zi really not dead? Wolf King's eyes couldn't help trembling when he saw the dagger in Qin Feiyong's hand. Master, why? The gorgeous woman looked at Qin Feiyong in horror. Qin Feiyong put away Chang Shui and walked straight to Lu Hong. His eyes softened and he said, I'm sorry I came out late and made you suffer. Are you really Qin Feiyong? Lu Hong looked at him in disbelief. It's me. Qin Feiyong nodded. It's really you. You're not dead. Lu Hong couldn't help but burst out. She burrowed into Qin Feiyong's arms and cried bitterly. Bastard, if you're not dead, why didn't you come out earlier? Why did you let the inner demons run amok outside? Look at everyone. What did he do to us? Wolf King and the other beasts were also sad and happy, and tears flowed down their faces. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I shouldn't have been soft-hearted and let him run amok. Qin Feiyong glanced at the other beasts, his eyes full of self-blame. Do you think an apology will solve the problem? Look at Xiao Hong. She thought you were dead. Her eyes are swollen from crying. Wolf King said angrily. Qin Feiyong looked down at Lu Hong. Her red eyes, her aggrieved expression, and the bloodstains on her face made his heart ache. I'm sorry. This kind of thing will never happen again. He hugged Lu Hong tightly in his arms and comforted her in a low voice. It's okay. As long as you're okay. Lu Hong shook her head. But the more Lu Hong acted like this, the angrier Qin Feiyong became. His consciousness entered the inner world. The inner demons were standing in the void not far away. When they saw Qin Feiyong come in, they immediately said angrily, Why are you like this? Didn't you say you would let me stay outside for a day? Qin Feiyong was mad and shouted, You still have the nerve to talk about me? Tell me, what stupid things have you done? TSK, I'm doing this for your own good. The inner demons said. For my own good? Qin Feiyong frowned. Yes. If I didn't force you like this, would you open your heart and accept Lu Hong? The inner demons pursed their lips. You? Qin Feiyong couldn't help but be angry. After all this, the inner demons wanted to set him up with Lu Hong. What about me? Lu Hong has been with you for so many years. Although she didn't make any contributions, she has always supported you and cared about you. Even when you were in danger, she didn't leave you. What else do you want? Kid, don't be greedy. She's such a good woman. If you don't want her, others will fight for her. Also, you're not young anymore. You should face what you need to face. Don't always make me worry. I'm just the inner demons, not your father. The inner demons rolled their eyes at him. Looking at the inner demon's old-fashioned attitude, Qin Feiyong couldn't help but feel angry. He shook his head and said, Feelings can't be forced. Why are you so stubborn? The inner demon glared at him as if she expected better from him. I'm not stubborn. I'm responsible. Lu Hong is very important to me. If anything happens to her, I'm willing to sacrifice myself to protect her. But I can't talk about feelings with her. Because she's my family, not my lover. If I insist on being with her, it's unfair to her. It will only hurt her in the future. Qin Feiyong shook his head. Rotten wood. Forget it. It's up to you. This time, I was meddling in other people's business. When you go out, Apologize to them for me. After saying that, the inner demons sat cross-legged in the void, closed their eyes, and ignored Qin Feiyong. How troublesome. Qin Feiyong glared at the inner demons angrily and withdrew his consciousness from the inner world. He was not a fool. He had already seen through Lu Hong's feelings. He just didn't want to break the barrier and complicate their relationship, so he pretended not to know. Chapter 1040. Inside the castle. After some time, Lu Hong, Wolf King, and the other beasts finally calmed down. Qin Feiyong let go of her. Lu Hong blushed. She stood up and looked away, not daring to look at anyone. Wolf King joked. Did you see that? Someone's embarrassed. Any woman would be embarrassed. What's so strange about that? The two-winged snow eagle also took advantage of the situation to tease. Lu Hong's face turned even redder. Will you die if you don't talk so much? Qin Feiyong glared at Wolf King and the other beasts. He then looked at the gorgeous woman and said lightly, You forget yourself just because I give you some sunshine. People like you can't be left alive. Master, I know I'm wrong. Please don't kill me. The gorgeous woman's eyes trembled. She quickly knelt in front of Qin Feiyong and begged. Qin Feiyong said, I won't kill you, but I won't let you follow me either. Hand over the Chenkuan bag. The gorgeous woman didn't dare to hesitate. She immediately took out the Chenkuan bag and handed it to Qin Feiyong. Qin Feiyong looked at Viper and smiled. Give her the antidote and set her free. The reason why the gorgeous woman was so obedient to Viper was because Viper had used poison to control her. This? Viper hesitated. Didn't you hear? Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows. Yes. Viper nodded. He took out a bottle of sacred water and threw it to the gorgeous woman. The gorgeous woman was stunned. What was going on? Not only did he not kill her, he even gave her the antidote. Was there something wrong with his head? But no matter what, this was a good thing. She quickly grabbed the jade bottle and drank a drop of the sacred water. The poison that had accumulated in her body for many years disappeared instantly. Good luck. Viper took back the rest of the sacred water and snorted secretly. The gorgeous woman's eyes showed a hint of pride. It seemed that this Qin Feiyong was still interested in her. However, just as her imagination was running wild, Qin Feiyong said, You can leave now. Leave. The gorgeous woman was stunned, and then her face changed. She hurriedly hugged Qin Feiyong's thigh and cried out, No, master. If her sea of qi hadn't been destroyed, she would have been happy to hear this, because this meant that she had truly regained her freedom. But now, she had lost all of her cultivation, and the inland sea was extremely dangerous, especially in the depths of the inland sea where there were even monarch beasts. If she went out alone, there was no doubt that she would die. This is your only chance. Whether you can survive or not will depend on your luck. Qin Feiyong said expressionlessly. Then, he waved his hand and threw the gorgeous woman out of the castle. Viper asked, Master, what if she's lucky and survives? Naive. Wolf King sneered. The castle that was exposed to the outside would automatically sink. So now, the castle should be at the bottom of the sea. As everyone knew, not only were there terrifying sea beasts lurking at the bottom of the sea, but there was also terrifying water pressure. The gorgeous woman's cosmos bag was in Qin Feiyong's hands. Without the water-repelling pearl, even if the sea beasts let her go, she would still be crushed alive by the water pressure. In other words, the chances of the gorgeous woman surviving were zero. Qin Feiyong glanced at Viper and the other two and said, You three should act as usual. Don't let Barbarian Bull and the others notice anything. Understood. The three of them nodded. Dan Wangkai asked, Master, how do I use this potential pill? The process of taking the potential pill is very painful, but as long as you persevere, you will succeed. In addition, when opening the potential door, you need the assistance of coercion. With your cultivation, the lowest requirement is Emperor's coercion. Qin Feiyong said. What if you can't persevere? The black monkey asked. You will explode and die. Qin Feiyong said. The pupils of the three shrank. They didn't expect the consequences to be so serious. Sure enough, it proved the old saying that effort and gain coexist. Qin Feiyong said, Take out your image crystals and establish a contract bridge. If there is any news in the future, inform me immediately. Yes. The three of them nodded. After establishing the contract bridge, Viper asked, Master, what about the poison in my body? If the poison in his body is not removed, he will always be threatened by the old man in green. This matter can't be rushed. Bear with it for a while. When I get the cluster of 7th grade pill fire that is about to be born, I will refine a detoxification pill with 7 pill patterns for you to try. If it doesn't work, I will go to Pei Qin to get the antidote. Qin Feiyang said. Thank you, Master. Viper bowed and thanked him. 7 pill patterns. When Dan Wangkai heard this, a trace of deep disbelief crept up between his brows. Qin Feiyang said with a faint smile, Don't be surprised, I can still refine a lot of pills that even you have never heard of. Dan Wangkai's eyes suddenly became fiery. If it was in the past, he would definitely not believe it. However, after seeing the potential pill, he firmly believed in Qin Feiyang's words. Qin Feiyang turned to Lu Hong, Wolf King, and the other beasts and said with a smile, You don't have to worry about anything outside. Just focus on your cultivation. Everyone nodded. After that, Qin Feiyang took out the water avoidance pearl and left the ancient castle with Viper and the other two. The place they appeared at was indeed the bottom of the sea. Nearby, there were a few sea beasts wandering around and the gorgeous woman was nowhere to be seen. Viper glanced at the sea beasts and sighed. If I'm not wrong, the red snake has already died under their mouths. You still sympathize with her? Dan Wangkai and the black monkey rolled their eyes. Not sympathy, just sentiment, Viper said. At the same time, their fear of Qin Feiyang deepened. Compared to the inner demons, this person was indeed much gentler. However, once his reverse scale was touched, his means were even more terrifying than the inner demons. In fact, Qin Feiyang did this to make an example out of them. Every single one of the Azure Sea's 10 heroes were arrogant people. If he didn't intimidate them, who knew what kind of trouble they would cause? Roar! Those sea beasts also noticed Qin Feiyang and the other three. They immediately let out deafening roars and rushed toward the 4 of them. Their ferocious aura also erupted. Oh no, they are all 9-star sacred beasts. Dan Wangcai's expression changed. He swept up Qin Feiyang and the other 2 and rushed toward the sea without looking back. Roar! However, the roars of those sea beasts alarmed all the sea beasts in this area. Splash! Boom! Some were as big as mountains, and some were as small as rocks. They rushed toward the 4 of them in a rush. There were countless of them. This is not good. Viper and the other 2's faces darkened. Although there were no emperor beasts, how could they kill so many sea beasts? The black monkey said, Master, it seems that we have to enter your ancient castle and hide for a while. Dan Wangkai nodded and said, Yes, although there are no emperor beasts now, once we fight with them, we might alarm the nearby emperor beasts. There is no need. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and stopped at the same time. There is no need? Do you have a way? The 3 of them were surprised and stopped behind Qin Feiyang. Grab my shoulders, Qin Feiyang said. The 3 of them suspiciously reached out and grabbed Qin Feiyang's shoulders. Almost at the next moment, a sea beast passed by not far in front of them, but it left as if it did not see them. What's going on? Is it blind? Viper and the other 2 looked at each other. Qin Feiyang said, I've activated the invisibility technique. We can see them but they can't see us. Invisibility technique? Was this what you used to kill the black snake? Viper asked. Qin Feiyang nodded. It's amazing. There is such a battle art in the world. Wait, is this invisibility technique a divine art? The 3 of them were surprised. It doesn't matter if it's a divine art or a battle art, as long as we can avoid their eyes and ears. Now don't move and don't let go, Qin Feiyang said. If they activated the invisibility technique outside, they could move freely without being discovered, but it was different in the sea. Because the sea would move. Once they moved, the seawater would also fluctuate. At that time, the sea beasts would be able to follow the fluctuations of the seawater and find their location. The only thing they could do now was to wait for the sea beasts to leave. Dan Wangkai looked at it in amazement for a while before turning to look at Qin Feiyang. His face was full of flattery as he transmitted a message. Master, can you let me take a look at that potential pill formula of yours? Qin Feiyong said with a smile. Sure, but it depends on your performance. Don't worry, I'll do my best. Dan Wangkai patted his chest as if he was making a solemn vow. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something. With a serious expression he exhorted, You are not allowed to mention to anyone that I am Qin Feiyong, including what you saw in the castle. What's wrong? The three of them were suspicious. Qin Feiyong said, If you have the chance, go to the Divine City and ask around a little. Okay. The three of them nodded. Then where are you going next? Dan Wangkai asked again. Qin Feiyong said, To meet up with Wang Zicheng and the others. Find Wang Zicheng? The three of them looked at each other and raised their eyebrows without leaving a trace. The black monkey said, Master, do you have any plans to take Wang Zicheng under your command? I do, but he's with young Master Hao, so it's hard to make a move. I'll talk about it when I have the chance. Also, I'm not the inner demons, so don't call me Master in the future. It sounds awkward. Qin Feiyong said. Snake said. Then what should we call you? Qin Feiyong smiled faintly. Just call me by my name. That's not good, is it? How about we call you Young Master or Young Master? Dan Wangkai said. Qin Feiyong thought for a while and nodded with a smile. Sure, as long as it's not Master. Then Young Master. Can you teach your invisibility technique to others? It's amazing, I want it too. The black monkey smiled flatteringly. You're thinking too much. Qin Feiyong's face twitched and he rolled his eyes. Not to mention whether the invisibility technique could be taught to others, the relationship between them was not to the extent of being intimate. The black monkey smiled embarrassedly, knowing that it was a little presumptuous, so it did not continue to pester. A few hundred breaths later, most of the nearby sea beasts had left. The four of them did not delay and quickly left the deep sea. Chapter 1041. After Qin Feiyong left, Dan Wangkai retracted his gaze and looked at Viper angrily. Old poison, we've been tricked by you this time. The black monkey also stared at Viper with a face full of resentment. Why didn't you blame me when I asked for the potential pill? Now that you've gotten the potential pill, you're blaming me? Viper's face was gloomy. When the two of them heard this, they couldn't help but feel ashamed. Viper continued, Also, after signing the slave seal, young master can peek into our inner thoughts, so you'd better be honest. What? There's such a thing. The two of them were shocked. I'm not joking with you. You'd better take care of yourselves. Viper sneered, turned around and left alone. Dan Wangkai and the black monkey looked at each other, quickly dispelled their evil thoughts, and chased after Viper. And then there was Qin Feiyong. In the dangerous sea area, with countless sea beasts, he had no choice but to activate the kill formula again. But this time, it was the inner demons who controlled the body. As Qin Feiyong expected, the kill formula didn't have any effect on the inner demons. On the contrary, the inner demons seemed to have been injected with stimulants, crazily killing and absorbing blood. Finally, his cultivation actually broke through to the one-star war emperor. Feeling the explosive power, the inner demons became even crazier and more unscrupulous. Along the way, he left behind countless corpses and bones. Moreover, as he absorbed more and more blood, his strength actually continued to increase. He didn't know how much blood he had absorbed, but his cultivation finally surpassed the 2-star war emperor and stopped at the 3-star war emperor. Whether it was the inner demons or Qin Feiyong's original body, they couldn't help but be wild with joy. Because from the 3-star war saint to the 3-star war emperor, there was a big realm. In other words, in addition to their battle arts and divine arts, even if it was a 6 or 7-star war emperor, they would still have the power to fight. However, this was not a simple matter, because it required a large amount of blood in advance. Right now, I can kill any god or devil that stands in my way. Who dares to fight me? The killing intent of the inner demons soared to the sky. The sea within a radius of several hundred miles trembled under his aura. Right now, he was like a god of death, scaring all the sea beasts away. Even the monarch beasts did not dare to come any closer. Time slowly passed. In the evening, on a certain island in the depths of the inland sea. This island was extremely large, with a diameter of several hundred miles. It was surrounded by mountains and lush greenery. On the peak of a certain mountain, Two men and a woman were sitting cross-legged together with their eyes closed in meditation. It was Wang Yuer and the other two. Roar. Suddenly, the roars of beasts could be heard. The three opened their eyes at the same time and looked suspiciously at the sea behind them. That is, immediately, their expressions changed. In the sky above the sea, groups of sea beasts were running madly towards the island, creating huge waves. That's a beast tide. Young Master Hao stood up and looked at the group of sea beasts, his face full of shock. What happened? I've been in the inner sea for hundreds of years, but I've never heard of a beast tide appearing anywhere in the inner sea. Wang Zicheng mumbled, his eyes full of bewilderment. The beast tide was getting closer and the commotion was getting louder and louder. The island under their feet was shaking. Quick, hide! Wang Yuer shouted. The three of them quickly jumped down from the peak and hid in a valley below. Roar! Soon, groups of sea beasts came roaring. Some galloped in the void while others ran wildly on the island, creating a huge commotion. They are all sacred beasts and most of them are 9-star battle sages. Wang Zicheng and the other two hid in the valley, restraining their auras to the extreme. They did not even dare to breathe loudly. No way, there are monarch beasts. Suddenly, Wang Zicheng's gaze was fixed on the void above, his face full of disbelief. It was a Neptune leopard. It was more than 10 meters long and had a ferocious aura. It whizzed past the top of the valley. It's really a beast tide, but what are they chasing? I didn't see anything passing by here before. Also, why are their eyes filled with fear? Wang Zicheng was bewildered. Fear. Wang Yuer and Wang Zicheng were stunned and carefully observed the eyes of those sea beasts. True enough. Every sea beast's eyes were filled with fear. It didn't seem like they were chasing something, but more like they were running for their lives. The devil is here. Run! Some sea beasts roared in horror. Devil? Wang Zicheng and the other two could not help but tremble. What kind of devil was so terrifying that even monarch beasts were fleeing? You dregs, let's see where you can escape to. Haha. Suddenly, there was a maniacal laughter that reverberated through the sky. Whose voice is that? Wang Zicheng and the other two were bewildered. Young Master Hao's gaze suddenly trembled slightly and he said telepathically, No, this voice is somewhat familiar. Familiar? Wang Yuer and Wang Zicheng were stunned and listened carefully. All of a sudden, the three of them shouted in unison, It's Ancestor Mu! But how was that possible? They knew Qin Feiyong's strength and it was impossible for him to do that. However, this voice was indeed Qin Feiyong's, but it was slightly different from before. It was filled with a shocking hostility. Although the three of them were very puzzled, they did not dare to go out to investigate. Because the sky was full of sea beasts. If they ran out now, they would be trampled to death even if they were not killed. Now I truly understand how lonely it is to be invincible. I ask, who can grant me death? The voice sounded again with an indescribable sense of loss. Bah, how narcissistic. Wang Yuer's face darkened and she could not help but curse in a low voice. He is indeed narcissistic. Wang Zicheng nodded. Young Master Hao shook his head and said, No, I know Brother Mu very well. He would not speak in such a tone. The voice is clearly his. Wang Yuer rolled her eyes at him. Young Master Hao said, It could be someone else, but the voice is just like Brother Mu's. Is that so? Wang Yuer and Young Master Hao muttered and looked up at the sky above the valley. Groups of sea beasts ran over from the sky. After a long time, the sea beasts finally disappeared. Immediately after, a blood-red figure appeared in the sky above the valley, and entered the sight of the three of them. It was the inner demons, Qin Feiyong. He had blood-red hair and blood-red eyes. His clothes were also dyed red by blood. In his hand was the corpse of a sea beast that was as big as a mountain. Hot blood spurted out like a waterfall. Obviously, this sea beast had not died for long. The inner demons, Qin Feiyong, walked in the sky with the sea beast in his hand. He really looked like a devil with a murderous aura that filled the sky. It's really Brother Mu. When he saw the inner demons, Qin Feiyong's face, Young Master Hao was immediately overjoyed and immediately stood up to greet him. Don't make a sound. Wang Zicheng pulled him back. What's wrong? Young Master Hao lowered his head and looked at him suspiciously. Although he looks exactly the same as Ancestor Mu, his temperament is completely different. The most important thing is that his cultivation is much higher than Ancestor Mu's. If I'm not wrong, he should be a 3-star combat emperor. Wang Zicheng transmitted his voice. 3-star combat emperor. Young Master Hao's body trembled. He immediately lay down on the ground and thought, then why does he look so similar to Brother Mu? How long have I known Ancestor Mu? If you don't know, how would I know? Wang Zicheng rolled his eyes at him. Strange, what's going on? Young Master Hao frowned. At this moment, the inner demons, Qin Feiyong, suddenly stopped and looked down at the valley. Not good. We've been discovered. Let's go. Wang Yuer's pupils shrank. She quickly pulled young Master Hao out of the valley and fled in panic. Wang Zicheng was also like a frightened rabbit. He quickly jumped out and chased after Wang Yuer and young Master Hao. Hey! The inner demons, Qin Feiyong, laughed mockingly. He took a step forward and instantly blocked in front of the three. He said, "Where do you think you're going? Who are you?" The three of them stopped abruptly and focused their attention on the inner demons, Qin Feiyong. Who am I? Are you blind? Can't you see that I'm Ancestor Mu? The inner demons, Qin Feiyong, said playfully. You know Ancestor Mu? Then you must know him. What's your relationship with him? Young Master Hao asked. If I say that I'm his biological elder brother from the same mother, would you believe me? The inner demons, Qin Feiyong, said with a sinister smile. Biological elder brother? The three of them looked at each other. Why hadn't they heard Ancestor Mu mention that he had such a biological elder brother? The inner demons, Qin Feiyong, changed the topic and said, since you're here, it means that the Elixir Fire's birthplace should also be here. Tell me where it is. Young Master Hao frowned and turned to Wang Yuer and Wang Zicheng. He said telepathically, you even know that. It shouldn't be fake. The two of them nodded. Wang Zicheng coughed and cupped his hands with a smile. Brother Mu, let me introduce myself. I'm Wang Zicheng, Ancestor Mu's sworn brother. Wait, Brother Wang, did you remember wrongly? When did you and Brother Mu become sworn brothers? Before Wang Zicheng could finish, young Master Hao interrupted him with a suspicious look. The smile on Wang Zicheng's face froze and the blue veins on his forehead bulged. What's wrong with this bastard's eyesight? Can't he see that I'm trying to make friends with Ancestor Mu's biological elder brother? How dare he ruin my plan in front of me? Is he going too far? Looking at Wang Zicheng's embarrassed face, the inner demons, Qin Feiyong, couldn't help but want to laugh. But he held it back and said with a straight face, I've heard about you from my younger brother. You're Wang Zicheng, one of the 10 heroes of Qinghai. You're young Master Hao, the son of a big shot. As for you, the inner demons, Qin Feiyong, looked at Wang Yuer and said with a smile, if I remember correctly, you seem to be the fiancé that my younger brother picked up. Young Master Hao and Wang Zicheng burst out laughing. Wang Yuer's face darkened. She gnashed her teeth and glared at the inner demons, Qin Feiyong. Did I say something wrong? This fiancé of yours was picked up from the streets. Besides, although my younger brother is ugly, he's quite popular with women. The number of women who like him, not to mention how many, can at least line up from the inland sea to the outer sea. So, don't think that you can be arrogant in front of my younger brother just because you're a little beautiful and have a little family background. Our family doesn't welcome arrogant women, so you'd better behave yourself. Otherwise, I'll ask my younger brother to divorce you. The inner demons, Qin Feiyong, said coldly. Divorce me. I can't ask for more. You'd better divorce me now. Wang Yuer was mad. As the saying goes, if you're not a family, you won't marry into the same family. Like younger brother, like elder brother. Young Master Hao and Wang Zicheng, who were next to them, wanted to laugh but didn't dare to. Their faces turned red. Chapter 1042. Little girl, don't be arrogant. Although my Mu family can't be compared to your Wang family, it won't be that easy to enter my Mu family. The inner demons Qin Feiyong chuckled and ignored Wang Yuer, who was gnashing her teeth. He turned to look at Wang Zicheng and asked, where is the birthplace of the Elixir Fire? It's not on this island. Wang Zicheng shook his head. The inner demon's Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows and asked in confusion, "Since it's not on this island, why are you here?" "It's a long story." Wang Zicheng sighed deeply and said with a smile, "Brother Mu, please come with me." He smiled reluctantly. Then he rose into the sky, turned into a stream of light, and flew to the left side of the island. The inner demon's Qin Feiyong frowned and quickly followed. Young Master Hao glanced at the two of them, then looked at the indifferent Wang Yuer and asked, "Sister, aren't you going?" "What for?" Wang Yuer asked coldly. Young Master Hao said, "Brother Mu's brother is very strong. Maybe he can defeat them." "So what?" Wang Yuer snorted. Young Master Hao said, "In this way, we can enter that island and wait for an opportunity to snatch the elixir fire. If you want to go, you go. I won't go." Wang Yuer turned her head and looked away. If she still followed them, wouldn't she be even more a joke? Young Master Hao said helplessly, "Sister, don't be so stubborn. The task is more important." After that, he forcibly dragged Wang Yuer and chased after the inner demons Qin Feiyong and Wang Zicheng. About half an hour passed. Another island came into the sight of the inner demons Qin Feiyong. The island was not very big, about a dozen miles or so. There was a huge volcano in the center, which was erupting red magma and illuminating half the sky. There were no beasts or plants on the island, only piles of volcanic ash. The sky above the island was also extremely hazy. Wang Zicheng stopped and looked at the island from afar. He said in a deep voice, "Big Brother Mu, this is actually the birthplace of the alchemy fire." Then why don't you guys wait here?" Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, was suspicious. "It's a long story. Back then, after we separated from your younger brother, we came here directly. At the beginning, it was still all right. There were only the three of us. However, more and more people started to arrive. Furthermore, most of them were battle emperors. We have no choice but to hide and wait for an opportunity. But this afternoon, an old man suddenly discovered us and chased us out." Wang Zicheng said helplessly. Upon hearing this, the inner demon's Qin Feiyong scanned the island. His eyes flickered as he asked, "How many are there?" 10 people. Their cultivation levels are between 4-star and 6-star combat emperors. Wang Zicheng said. The inner demon's Qin Feiyong asked, "Do you know who they are?" "I don't know." Wang Zicheng shook his head. "I know." Young Master Hao suddenly said. "Who?" Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, turned to look at him. Young Master Hao said, "The people of the 9 super tribes and the trading pavilion. I was wondering why they didn't kill you. It turns out that they are from these forces." Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, suddenly understood. If it were anyone else, they would have been killed by those 10 people. However, regardless of whether it was the people of the 9 super tribes or the trading pavilion, they all knew young Master Hao and Wang Yuer. Naturally, they wouldn't dare to act recklessly. At the same time, upon hearing the conversation between Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, and young Master Hao, the shock in Wang Zicheng's eyes intensified. He looked at young Master Hao and Wang Yuer and asked suspiciously, "Who are you two?" He had also thought about this question. Why didn't those 10 people kill them but only chase them away? At first, he thought that those 10 people might not care about them because they were young and weak. However, he didn't expect that it was because of Wang Yuer and young Master Hao. As for the 9 super tribes and the trading pavilion, although he had never been to the Divine City, he had more or less heard about them. Even the people from these superpowers didn't dare to touch them. How terrifying were these 2 people's origins? In the past, he also thought about asking about their identities in person, but after thinking about it, he felt that it was too rash to inquire about their background since they had just known each other for a short time. Therefore, he didn't ask them. But now, he really couldn't hold it in anymore. And this time, he made up his mind to get an answer. Well, in the face of Wang Zicheng's question, young Master Hao looked at Wang Yuer at a loss. Wang Yuer glanced at Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, and then looked at Wang Zicheng and said, "Our identities are not important. The important thing is, how did the people of the 9 super tribes and the trading pavilion know that the alchemy fire was born here?" "That's right. Who leaked the news?" Young Master Hao was surprised. Qin Feiyong, the inner demons, glanced at the two of them, looked up at the island, and sneered, "You two are still too naive. Brother Mu, what do you mean? Young Master Hao was suspicious. Wang Yue raised her eyebrows in dissatisfaction. The main tower seems to be calm, but in fact, there are undercurrents surging. I might as well tell you the truth. Whether it is the super tribes or the trading pavilion, they all have spies in the main tower. And these spies have a very high status in the main tower. Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, said. What? There is such a thing. The two of them were surprised. Are you surprised? Then if I tell you that the mysterious Mu family also has spies in the main tower, will you believe it? Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, smiled playfully. Well, the two of them looked at each other. Brother Mu, you can't say that. If you say that the super tribes in the trading pavilion have spies in the main tower, I will believe it. But we have always minded our own business. They would never do such a thing. Young Master Hao said. Otherwise, why would I say that you are still too naive? Some things are not as simple as you think. Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, sneered. Young Master Hao frowned. He felt that what Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, said was too outrageous. But Wang Yue couldn't help but feel a chill in her heart. She was older than young Master Hao, and her cultivation was stronger than young Master Hao. She had seen more than young Master Hao, so her vision of things was also better than young Master Hao. And what Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, said seemed unintentional, but in fact, there was a deep meaning in his words. She couldn't help but begin to doubt. Suddenly, she seemed to think of something. She looked at Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, and her eyes flickered. Why are you looking at me like that? Do you think I am very handsome now? Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, stroked his chin and laughed. Wang Yue rolled her eyes and said in a deep voice, I have always ignored a problem, that is, your surname. You two brothers are surnamed Mu. Are you from the Mu family? Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, was stunned. Young Master Hao was also stunned. Looking at Qin Feiyang's reaction, Wang Yue narrowed her eyes slightly and said, Is it true that I am right? Hey! Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, grinned, stepped forward, grabbed Wang Yue's neck, and said coldly, Since you have been guessed, I have to kill you. Wang Yue's face turned pale. Young Master Hao also changed his expression and asked in disbelief, Brother Mu, is that true? Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, acted so real that young Master Hao couldn't help but believe it. What do you think? Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, looked at him coldly. Young Master Hao's heart instantly fell into an ice valley. At the same time, in his heart, a burst of anger burst out. He stared at Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, and roared, How dare you use me? The Mu family is too much. I didn't use you. It was my brother who used you. You're really stupid. You believed him so easily. But then again, we really have to thank you. If it weren't for your help, my useless brother wouldn't have the chance to become your father's disciple. Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, joked. Bastard. Young Master Hao roared. What? Ancestor Mu is young Master Hao's father's disciple? Doesn't that mean that young Master Hao is the chief Tower Master's son? Wang Zicheng looked at young Master Hao in surprise. He didn't expect that young Master Hao was the son of the Master of the Forgotten Continent. What about Wang Yue? Young Master Hao had always called her sister. Was she also the chief Tower Master's daughter? What are you shouting for? Is it useful to shout now? Wang Yue shouted at young Master Hao angrily, then looked at Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, and said, We are really blind. After being with Ancestor Mu for so long, we didn't see through his true colors. Haha. Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, laughed, then let go of Wang Yue, and flew toward the island without looking back. This. Young Master Hao was stunned. Wang Yue was also stunned. My little brother was right. You two are really naive. Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, laughed loudly and quickly entered the island. Naive? Too much, too much. The two immediately gnashed their teeth. After all this time, this person was just teasing them. But the next moment, young Master Hao's expression changed and he shouted, Brother Mu, don't go, it's dangerous. Stop shouting. Since he dares to go, it means that he is confident. Let's just wait for the good show. Wang Zicheng said, but there was a thoughtful look in his eyes. A son of the Chief Tower Master, a daughter of the Chief Tower Master, and a personal disciple of the Chief Tower Master. What was the purpose of these three coming to Qinghai? Suddenly, his eyes trembled slightly. Could it be that they were here for the alchemy fire? You guys be careful. I have something to deal with, Wang Zicheng hurriedly said, then turned around and used the perfect auxiliary battle technique, disappearing from the sight of young Master Hao and Wang Yuer. What is he going to do? Young Master Hao frowned. Who knows? Wang Yuer pursed her lips. At the same time, on the volcanic island, Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, stood above the island, scanning below. The air here was very dry and hot, and ashes were flying everywhere. Although it was already night, under the illumination of the fire, everything on the island could be clearly seen. There were no living creatures on the island, but around the volcano, there were 10 figures sitting cross-legged. Chapter 1043. Ancestor Mu. At the same time, the 10 people also noticed the inner demons, Qin Feiyang. Their eyes were filled with doubt. 3-star combat emperor? How could this be? Wasn't Ancestor Mu a combat saint? The inner demons, Qin Feiyang, waved his hand and smiled. Hi, everyone! You are Ancestor Mu? A middle-aged woman asked. The inner demons, Qin Feiyang, cupped his hands and smiled. Ancestor Mu is my younger brother. I am called Ancestor Mu. Everyone is my elder. If you don't mind, you can call me Ancestor Mu. Ancestor? The 10 people's faces immediately darkened. Which immoral bastard came up with the names of these two brothers? One called Ancestor Mu, and the other called Ancestor Mu. Wasn't this taking advantage of others? The inner demons, Qin Feiyang, chuckled and glanced at them. Suddenly, he locked his gaze on a certain person. His blood-red eyes were filled with coldness. An old man in green stood there. He had white hair and a white beard. His hands were behind his back, and his whole body was emitting a kind of otherworldly aura. That's right. This person was Pei Qin. The inner demon secretly laughed. Deity, I found this old man. How should we deal with him? Do as you see fit. Qin Feiyang's voice sounded in the inner world. It was also filled with a bone-chilling coldness. Understood. The inner demons licked his lips and looked at the old man in green. He smiled and said, Senior, you look familiar. Have I seen you somewhere before? The old man in green was slightly stunned. He chuckled and said, Really? Why don't I remember seeing you before? No, I must have seen you before. The inner demons waved his hand and suddenly revealed a look of realization. Oh right, one of the Qinghai 10 heroes, Viper. The old man in green was shocked and asked suspiciously, Who is Viper? You don't know? Then why did my brother tell me that someone is instigating Viper to get rid of him? The inner demons joked. The divine Python tribe wants to get rid of Ancestor Mu. The other 9 people were bewildered. Hearing this, Pei Qin's expression changed slightly, but he quickly concealed it. He smiled at the inner demons and said, Little friend, I don't understand what you're saying. Even if Viper wants to get rid of your brother, what does that have to do with me? However, his heart was filled with bewilderment. What's with the Viper? Could he have been exposed? Of course it has something to do with you. Because you were the one who instigated Viper. I was looking for you too. I didn't expect to meet you so soon. The inner demons sneered. Pei Qin's face sank, and he said angrily, Little friend, you can't speak carelessly like that. Your younger brother is the Chief Pagoda Master's personal disciple. How could I dare to attack him? Haha. Old man, stop pretending. Viper told me everything about you. Tell me, how are you going to compensate me? Let me make it clear to you first. My brother's life is very valuable. Don't try to fool me with some useless things. Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, said slowly. Everyone was surprised. Did it mean that Ancestor Mu had died in the hands of Viper? Yes, my brother is dead. He died in the hands of Viper. At that time he asked me for help. However, when I rushed to the inner sea, it was already too late. As for my brother's death, I believe that many of you here are very happy. The inner demon said with a sad smile. He's really dead. Everyone looked at each other. Pei Qin asked calmly, "What about Viper?" The inner demon said with a smile, "Would I let the person who killed my brother live?" Now there's no proof. Pei Qin was secretly happy. He looked at the inner demons and sighed. "Little friend, I don't know what Viper told you, but your brother's death really has nothing to do with me. My condolences." Yes. The divine python tribe has no grudge with Ancestor Mu. How could Pei Qin harm him? A middle-aged man said with a smile. This man was from the Qilin tribe. His name was Wu Kai. Is that so? The inner demons looked at Wu Kai and Pei Qin and seemed to be shaken. Yes. Both of them nodded at the same time. Okay, then I'll go and check again. The inner demon frowned and disappeared into the night sky like a flash of lightning. Phew. Pei Qin secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Ancestor Mu is dead? This is not a small matter. Yes, if this news spreads to the Divine City, it will definitely cause an unprecedented storm. The few of them discussed animatedly. Their eyes were full of shock. Pei Qin glanced at the other 9 people and said with a smile, "Everyone, I suddenly remembered that I have something to deal with. Excuse me." Then, without waiting for the 9 people to respond, he turned and flew to the other side of the island. Wu Kai of the Qilin tribe looked at Pei Qin's back and a strange light flashed in his eyes. Then he looked at the 8 people and said with a smile, "I have something to do too. Excuse me." After that, he also turned and disappeared quickly. Hypocrite. The 8 people sneered. It was obvious that Pei Qin and Wu Kai were going to pass the news back. Then, the 8 people went in different directions to pass the news back to their own tribes. At the edge of the southern part of the island, Pei Qin took out the image crystal and his battle chi surged. After a while, the shadow of the leader of the divine python tribe appeared. The leader of the divine python tribe looked at Pei Yi and said with a smile, "Elder Qin, you're all smiles. Do you have any good news?" Pei Qin nodded and said with a smile, "Yes, Ancestor Mu is dead." The leader of the divine python tribe was stunned and asked in surprise, "How did he die?" "I was killed by a man named Viper." Pei Qin immediately told him what had happened in a concise and clear manner. After that, the leader of the divine python tribe was overjoyed. He nodded and said with a smile, "Good, good, good. This hidden danger is finally removed. I can rest assured. Now your task is to get the elixir fire back." "I'm afraid that's a little difficult because the other 8 super tribes and the trading pavilion have also sent people here," Pei Qin said. "They also received the news?" The leader of the divine python tribe frowned and said, "Well, I won't force you. Try your best." "Yes." Pei Qin answered respectfully and turned off the image crystal. "Haha. I didn't expect that you really killed Ancestor Mu. You're amazing." At this moment, a sneer sounded. "Who is it?" Pei Qin's eyes turned cold. He suddenly turned around and looked in the direction of the voice, only to see a middle-aged man walking out from behind a rock. "It's you, Wu Kai." Pei Qin's old face suddenly became extremely gloomy. "If I hadn't been suspicious and followed you, I would have thought that Ancestor Mu's brother had wronged you." Wu Kai chuckled. "What do you want?" Pei Qin's eyes surged with killing intent. Wu Kai said with a smile, "Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking the opportunity to threaten you. On the contrary, I want to thank you properly." "Thank me?" Pei Qin frowned. But at the next moment, he seemed to have thought of something and the killing intent in his eyes quickly dissipated. He chuckled and said, "Your Qilin tribe should indeed thank me properly." "What do you mean?" This time, Wu Kai was puzzled. Pei Qin said, "Gua Xiongzhong, the trusted aide of your leader, failed several times to assassinate Ancestor Mu. Now that I've helped you get rid of this big problem, shouldn't you thank me?" "How do you know?" Wu Kai's face darkened. "Ever since Ancestor Mu entered Qinghai City, I've been secretly monitoring him, so I know everything that Gua Xiongzhong has done." Pei Qin said with a smile. "So your divine python tribe has started to act so early, but I'm very puzzled. Why do you want to get rid of Ancestor Mu? What deep grudge does he have with your divine python tribe?" Wu Kai frowned. Pei Qin's eyes flashed and he said expressionlessly, "It's not your place to ask about these things." Wu Kai said with a smile, "Okay, I've said too much. Anyway, Ancestor Mu's death is good for both of us. That's true. Pei Qin nodded with a smile and said, by the way, let me tell you another news. Gua Xiongzhong is dead. What? Wu Kai's face changed and he asked, who killed him? One is called the Big Bull, and the other is called Wang Zicheng. You've seen Wang Zicheng before. He's the young man with young Master Hao. Both of them are part of the Qinghai 10 heroes and are quite powerful. Pei Qin said. Why didn't you say so earlier? Wu Kai said angrily. If he had known at that time, even if young Master Hao and Wang Yue were present, he wouldn't have let Wang Zicheng leave the island alive. It's not too late to say it now. Because the Qinghai 10 heroes will definitely come to snatch the alchemy fire. After all, they were the first to discover the alchemy fire here. With their arrogance, they won't let us snatch it easily. Pei Qin smiled mockingly. Then, without further delay, he turned into a stream of light and flew toward the volcano without looking back. Big Bull. Wang Zicheng. How dare you kill the people of my Qilin tribe? You'll all die. Wu Kai's eyes flashed with killing intent and he turned to leave. Not long after the two left, a half-meter-long snake appeared in a pile of stones not far away. It was the Spirit Snake Emperor. The Spirit Snake Emperor's tail was wrapped around an image crystal. Hee. Looking in the direction where Pei Qin and Wu Kai disappeared, the Spirit Snake Emperor laughed sinisterly and left quietly with the image crystal. On the other side, above the sea, the inner demons, Qin Feiyong, stood in the wind. Whoosh! Soon, the Spirit Snake Emperor returned and gave the image crystal to the inner demons, Qin Feiyong. Little guy, well done. The inner demons, Qin Feiyong, rubbed its head and turned on the image crystal. The scene of Pei Qin and Wu Kai's conversation immediately appeared in the void in front of them. After knowing that Qin Feiyong's true body was not dead, the Spirit Snake Emperor was not so afraid of the inner demons. It coiled on the inner demon's shoulder and laughed sinisterly. Now, the leaders of the major tribes think that we're dead. That's the effect I want. I want to see their expressions when they see us return to the divine city alive. The inner demons joked and put away the image crystal. Then, he grabbed the Spirit Snake Emperor and said, it'll be dangerous later. You should go to the castle first. The Spirit Snake Emperor nodded. The inner demons waved his hand and the Spirit Snake Emperor disappeared immediately. Then, the inner demons laughed sinisterly and turned in the air, flying toward the island again. Chapter 1044. In the center of the island. The people of the 9 super tribes and the trading pavilion had all returned one after another. They each occupied one side, waiting for the birth of the alchemy fire. Boom! Suddenly, a terrifying murderous intent surged like a tide, enveloping the entire island. The 10 people were shocked and looked up. When they saw the inner demons, Qin Feiyong, coming back, their eyes were filled with surprise. Swish! The inner demons, Qin Feiyong, stopped above the crater. The magma that erupted could not withstand his pressure at all and scattered all over the sky. Pei Qin smiled and asked, little friend, why are you back? I forgot one thing. The inner demons raised the corner of his mouth and glanced at the crater below. Inside the volcano, he could faintly feel the aura of the alchemy fire. Obviously, the alchemy fire that had not yet been born was inside this volcano. Seeing the inner demons glancing at the crater, the 3 people could not help but feel a chill in their hearts. Pei Qin smiled without batting an eyelid. Little friend, there should be a first come, first served rule for everything. First come, first serve. Are you kidding? In this world, it's about whose fist is bigger. Now I officially announce that the alchemy fire here is mine. You can get lost. The inner demons looked proud and did not put the 10 people in his eyes. Get lost? There was no doubt that the 10 people were furious. Not to mention their identity, just based on their strength, no one dared to speak to them in such a tone. The word get lost was not only humiliating them, but also trampling on their dignity. You don't agree? The inner demons glanced at the crowd, his eyes full of contempt. Although little friend's strength is exceptional, we old fellows are not too weak either. Thus, I'll give little friend a word of advice. It's best to take care of yourself. Pei Qin laughed and said. The inner demons looked at Pei Qin and said with a smile, Old man, You seem to be the most arrogant among these people. Haven't you heard that the bird that sticks out gets shot? Boom. After saying that, the inner demons exuded a shocking murderous aura and rushed toward Pei Qin. Damn it! Pei Qin quivered. Only now did he realize that no one else had spoken. How could he be so foolish? He was extremely vexed. However, it was too late to regret now. His gaze was gloomy as he coldly snorted. The bird that sticks out will be shot. Let's see if you have the ability to do so. Boom. As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying emperor's aura rushed out of his old body and pounced towards Qin Feiyang. I have finally seen your cultivation level clearly. I originally thought that you were a 6-star combat emperor, but it turns out that you are just a 5-star combat emperor. The inner demon smiled contemptuously and landed in front of Pei Qin like a bolt of lightning, slapping him in the air. No battle chi. He didn't use any battle arts either. The inner demon scoffed. Did you see that? I don't even need battle aura to deal with you. Crazy. Ancestor Mu is already crazy enough, but this person is even crazier than Ancestor Mu. As expected of a brother. Wu Kai and the others' pupils shrank. However, Pei Qin was a 5-star combat emperor, but this person was only a 3-star combat emperor. There was a difference of 2 small realms, but he didn't even need to use battle aura. Wasn't he being too arrogant? As for Pei Qin, there was no doubt that he was completely enraged by the inner demon's words. Brat, you will soon know that you are not qualified to be arrogant in front of this old man. Pei Qin roared as he stretched out his old arm. Battle chi surged from his palm as he slapped towards the inner demons without any intention of dodging. This was what he thought. Since this person dared to be arrogant, he might as well take the opportunity to kill him with a single palm strike. After all, paper cannot wrap fire. If this matter was exposed one day and this person found out that he was related to Ancestor Mu's death, then it would be even more troublesome. Therefore, he might as well cut the weeds and eliminate the roots now. Boom. In an instant, the 2 palms collided. However, at the same time, the inner demons, Qin Feiyang's palm emitted a dazzling golden light. Return formula. At that moment, Pei Qin was sent flying. His arm was lacerated and blood flowed out. What? Pei Qin was defeated. Wu Kai and the others were stunned. One must know that Pei Qin had used his battle chi. How could he be defeated by this person? What was going on? This power. It can actually rebound. Pei Qin himself was also in disbelief. After stabilizing his body, he looked at the inner demons, Qin Feiyang, in horror. Looking at your incredible appearance, I thought you were very strong. It turns out that this is all there is to it. The inner demons grinned and took a mysterious step. He left a series of phantoms around Pei Qin. Each of the phantoms was incomparably real as if they were his clones. Phantom steps. This is a perfect auxiliary combat art. Wu Kai was shocked. A middle-aged woman frowned and said, "Why does this combat art look a little familiar?" Familiar? Everyone looked at her in surprise. I can't remember at the moment. However, this kind of footwork should be very scary because no one knows where his real body is. The middle-aged woman said in a deep voice. Everyone nodded. Pei Qin might be in trouble now. Looking at Pei Qin again. At this moment, his face was gloomy as he glanced at the phantoms of the inner demons, Qin Feiyang. Indeed, as Wu Kai and the others expected, in the face of the phantoms all over the sky, he really couldn't tell which one was Qin Feiyang's real body. However, it wasn't impossible to crack, as long as all the phantoms were destroyed. Destroy for me. He raised his head and roared, his hair standing on end. His whole body was like a rainbow, rolling in all directions. Those phantoms continued to be destroyed. Old man, I'm here. Suddenly, a playful voice rang in Pei Qin's ears. Pei Qin's hair suddenly stood up and he didn't hesitate to throw a punch. Hey! The inner demon smiled ferociously and directly slapped with his big hand. The golden light in his palm reappeared. Boom! Ah! Accompanied by a scream, Pei Qin was once again blasted away and his arm shattered on the spot. It actually bounced back. Pei Qin's body and mind trembled. Previously, when he felt the power bouncing back, he thought it was just an illusion. Because in his opinion, there couldn't be such a strange thing in the world. But this time, he felt it incomparably real. That shattered arm was also the best proof. How do you know this kind of battle art? Pei Qin looked at the inner demons in surprise. Because as far as he knew, there was another person who had mastered the same battle art. That was the infamous Qin Feiyang. What do you think? The inner demons licked his lips, raised his head and shouted, "Ultimate ruins!" An invisible force suddenly roared towards Pei Qin like a torrent. "You're too arrogant." Pei Qin's eyes were cold, and a black aura broke out of his body. "Not good. Retreat." Wu Kai and the others changed color and quickly retreated. "What's the situation?" The inner demons were surprised. The next moment, the black aura that appeared from Pei Qin's body suddenly turned into a black fog and pounced toward Qin Feiyang with overwhelming momentum. This black mist carried a strong fragrance. The inner demons smelled it and suddenly felt dizzy. Poisonous. His eyes trembled. He actually forgot that this old thing was also a poisonous creature. And it was even more terrifying than a viper. After all, it could even control a viper. He immediately held his breath and retreated. Haha. This poisonous gas is my biggest trump card, comparable to a perfect battle art. Even if you hold your breath, you can't stop it because it will penetrate through your pores. Look carefully, your skin is already festering, and in less than 10 breaths, you will be smashed to pieces. Pei Qin laughed wildly, and his face was quite ferocious. The inner demons was shocked and hurriedly raised his hands and looked down. Sure enough, the skin on his hands had already shown signs of festering, and the black mist was like a gangrene attached to the bones, and once it stuck, it could not be shaken off. Kid, I admit that you are very strong, but there is a saying that the older the ginger, the spicier it is. You are still far from it. Pei Qin looked at him disdainfully. Testes, I let you take advantage of me a little, and you are so proud. Old man, your temperament still needs to be tempered. The inner demons shook his head and sneered. The purple gold dragon aura soared into the sky, and a purple gold divine dragon quickly appeared above his head. The dragon's power shook the world. Roar! Then the purple gold divine dragon let out a deafening dragon roar, and an invisible sound wave rolled out. In an instant, the black mist between heaven and earth was annihilated one after another. Pei Qin himself was also drowned in the sound wave, and his body was dripping with blood in an instant, and even his bones could be seen in some places. Even Wu Kai and the others who had retreated far away had blood spurting out of their ears, and their minds were rumbling. They were all horrified. What kind of battle art was this? It was terrifying to such an extent. In a trance, they seemed to have seen a god descending into the world, and an indescribable fear emerged in their hearts. At the same time, the volcano also collapsed, and the magma was like fireworks, erupting all over the sky. However, the pill fire had not appeared yet. The inner demons raised his head and looked at Pei Qin, revealing a mouthful of white teeth, and laughed. You can't even withstand a single blow? Little bastard, I will cripple you. Pei Qin was burning with anger. A dignified 5-star war emperor was actually suppressed and beaten by a 3-star war emperor, and in front of so many acquaintances. Where would he put his old face in the future? This great shame must be washed away. Boom! His hair fluttered in anger, and his entire body's aura was released. Following closely, a black giant python soared into the sky from behind him. It was hundreds of feet long, like a majestic mountain ridge, emitting a world-shaking ferocious aura. It was his battle soul. The inner demons pretended to be afraid and exclaimed, Ayaya, you're using your trump card so soon? Little bastard, you won't be proud for long. Innate divine ability, light of destruction. As soon as he finished, a jet-black light suddenly shot out from between the giant python's eyebrows, emitting a world-destroying power. It pierced through the sky and shot towards Qin Feiyang. Then you may be disappointed, because I will continue to be proud, and your divine python tribe will be trampled into pieces by me sooner or later. As for you, prepare to report to hell now. The inner demon's eyes flashed with a bloodthirsty light, and the red sword spirit appeared out of nowhere. The innate divine ability was awakened, and the flaming beast shadow roared out. Roar! Clang! The two great battle souls carried a destructive power and rushed towards the black light. Boom! Accompanied by an earth-shaking sound, the black light dissipated. Following that, the two great battle arts pounced towards the giant python. Hiss. With a wail, the giant python also collapsed on the spot. Puff. The innate divine ability and battle soul were destroyed one after another. Pei Qin's body suffered an unprecedented injury. His body trembled and blood spurted out. Looking at the roaring flaming beast shadow and the red sword spirit, a trace of despair crept into his eyes. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.